All right, barring any more technical glitches, we'll see if we got that straightened out. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world. Pull up a chair. It's time to get down to the business. I am, of course, your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. Glad to be with you all here again. As you can see, there have been a couple of changes made, so we have made good use of some of the technical glitches as of late to go ahead and make some changes here. Now, what are we here for tonight? We're here tonight because, man, look here. It is dinner for the delusional. It is the menu for the miserable. All right, you've all seen it. You've hated it. There's this ridiculous list that's been going around online that some unscrupulous scallywag threw out there. Here's a list of places women absolutely refuse to go on a first date. And thank you to the ladies who reached out to me to help me on my list. Number one was Cheesecake Factory. And this was made in the wake of a video that was put out. Now, the video may have been a skit. Most likely probably was. Kind of hard to have that conclusive, but I've always assumed that it was. However, that's not relevant because just because it may, in the internet era, just because something may begin that way, the conversation that it kicks off may actually be very, very real. So, as you can see on here, the list was Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle's, Olive Garden, the movies, Your House, any fast food chain, Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, Red Lobster, a buffet, IHOP, Denny's, the gym. Now, that one was interesting because I'm like, okay, the gym, places they refuse to go on a first date. Were these the women proudly saying that they don't want to go to the gym? Did you think that over? What? All right. Because then the question becomes, okay, exactly who is the individual you're taking on the date then if she's proudly declaring, by the way, I don't like gymnasiums. All right. Church. Considering the fact that church is majority female, although there are some people's deadbeat deacons who are out there with, hello there, sister girl. And so they're looking to get their Ronald Isley on. So Starbucks, coffee dates. Okay, you said Starbucks already, didn't you? Ice cream dates, family functions, movie night, Netflix, Hulu, and etc. Okay, you already said the house. Somewhere that requires a long drive, bowling, nightclubs, hookah bar, a bar for just drinks, Waffle House sports events. All right. So that was the list they hit people with because the original video was talking about the Cheesecake Factory. Now, I want to go ahead and play a video here. This was posted, one of my Facebook friends here, Shemaine. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate that. Talking about that list made the view. Thought it'd be interesting to hear some of their comments there about this.
Yes, because this woman went viral for shaming her date for choosing the Cheesecake Factory for dinner. She feels bad about reacting like she did, so she says. But take a look at the clip.
Who takes someone that looks like this to a...
All right. So is this part of the video that makes people think, maybe this is a skit? Is this part of the video that makes you think, okay, are you sure this ain't made up? Are you sure that this is not made for giggles, laughs, or whatever? And I'm not here to denigrate anybody. What I'm just saying here is, baby, the Cheesecake Factory is very, very fancy for you. Very, very fancy where you are involved. And she's sitting here flicking the hair and whatnot. So it's like, okay, all right.
Chain restaurant.
Look at me. I cannot go in the Cheesecake Factory.
There's nothing wrong.
I will die.
Maybe we're not right for each other. So, respectfully, I'm going to just drop you off at home.
Oh, no, he didn't. After the conversation, I could see how there was a lot of I
Okay.
In that exchange.
Absolutely.
I was definitely very self-centered, and I can appreciate if I do want someone to provide for me, I at least gotta be a little bit nice.
All right. So like I say, whether it was a skit or not, here's the real issue. The real issue is she's very much real. Every single male listening to me right now has met 5 or 6 or 7 chicks like this. She brings literally $20 of femininity and wants $1,000 of protection and provision. She brings $20 of femininity and wants $1,000 of benefits. That's the issue. It's one thing if she came through the gap looking a certain way. It'd be one thing if that were the case. If that were the case, we'd be having a whole different conversation. Instead, when she says, "Welcome to the buffet," that's exactly what she means. And by that, I mean welcome her to the buffet. So she is actually representative of females in the real world. If it's a skit, it's simply a skit that is illustrating reality. That's the problem.
After if I do want.
Okay, that apology-ish is part of this, but what do you think? I mean,
well, she got a lot of
first
blowback,
day.
I think,
I'm
probably,
sure she did.
which made her very contrite.
That's why.
But here's the thing, 2 things. I always tell young girls, make your own money so you don't have to care where he takes you. Make your own money. And
Okay, and that right there is why most females today are single. So listen to Joy Behar. Listen to her. This is the reason why young females simply cannot listen to old women for any advice anymore. Old women used to have good advice. They no longer do. They just say crazy stuff now. They no longer do. This is the advice you get from them now? Really? Now, by the way, I think Joy is married. Yep, I just went to go look that up. So Joy is married. She old, but she married. And she's saying, I tell the young women out there. So she's got a guy who doesn't subscribe to any of this stuff. That's who she got. But she's telling young females advice that doesn't work for her and didn't work for her, didn't do her any good, but she's perfectly willing to go dump it off on them. Then you got Sunny Hostin.
her very contrite.
That's why.
But here's the thing, 2 things. I always tell young girls, make your own money so you don't have to care where he takes you. Make your own money. And a very, very nice day where they take you to.
Then you got Sunny Hostin.
Girls, make your own money so you don't have to care where he takes you. Make your own money.
Okay, now I want you to understand. Listen to what this old gas bag is sitting up here saying, with Sunny Hostin sitting over there co-signing and clapping while she's got her husband, by the way. She's married to an orthopedic surgeon, by the way. Not that that really matters, but my point is, by the way, she's not worried about that. While she's sitting up here telling you, hey, ladies, make your own money so you don't have to care where he goes or wants to go or not. That's what Joy Bullcrap sat up here and said.
Well, she got a lot of
first
blowback,
day.
I think,
I'm
probably.
sure she did.
Which made her very contrite.
That's why.
But here's the thing, 2 things. I always tell young girls, make your own money so you don't have to care where he takes you.
Make your own money so you don't have to care where he takes you. So she's not, understand something. I've told you all this now for years and years. When you hear these old depends warriors these undergarments warriors sitting up here giving out this venomous, poisonous advice to young females. Understand, when they tell you get a job, get a degree, they don't mean get a job and get a degree so that you won't be homeless. They specifically want you to get a job and get a degree so you can weaponize it against men. Now, that's not the way she talked to her husband. That's not the way she talked to him. But these underwear warriors will sit up here and say this garbage to young females, to go send them out to young men because she's upset and angry because she didn't get what she wanted. And at this point in her life right now, the only thing she's looking for is a super simp. It's like, yeah, you don't even hear her show him or talk about him. She's not really interested in that. Yeah, that's not his purpose. It's just, well, look here. Your job is pay the damn bills. I'm going to go hang out with the girls over there on The View. I'm going to go hang out over there with them. And that is poisonous advice to give out. So she is worse than the chick in the Cheesecake Factory video. This is what I meant by, even if that's a skit, do you see the serious suggestions and serious conversation that is coming as a result? I tell young females, make your own money so you don't have to care where he takes you. So she's telling you, get a job so that you have veto power, so that you can defy his authority, so that you can challenge him, so you can argue with him, and you'll never lose because, well, you can just go get it yourself. Meanwhile, do you all think that Joy Behar talked like that to the guy who she got to marry him? Do you think she talked like that to him? Do you think she talks like that now while she's sitting up here bumming her gums to you like that? Do you think she's speaking that way to the man she's married to? Do you think Sunny Hostin is speaking that way to her orthopedic surgeon husband? Do you think she is? By the way, while they're out there saying that stuff, it'll be interesting to see if they actually stand by it. Because here's the thing, what does it matter how much money the guy makes if you're talking about going out to eat somewhere? What's the income range that Joy and Sunny are thinking? Because I want you to listen to what Sunny has to say next here, because their Sunny is clapping big, and this is how deceitful and deceptive and unscrupulous this bunch is up here on the stage, but especially Sunny. She's sitting up here clapping. That's right. Make your own money so you ain't got to care where he takes you. You ain't got to worry about going to no Cheesecake Factory. Now, listen to what happens next.
And, a very, very nice day.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, listen to the shrieking harpies out there in the audience sitting up there clapping.
Here's the thing, two things. I always tell young girls, make your own money so you don't have to care where he takes you. Make your own money. And, a very, very nice...
Correction, Sunny is over there in the pink, but trust me, she's over there clapping too. I want you to hear what she's got to say.
Day where they take you to the ritziest restaurant. You could be with a serial killer. You don't know who they are. No. This is a nice guy. He was trying his best. Also, by the way, she made him wait a half hour.
1 hour.
Oh, an hour.
1 hour.
Okay, so the guy is waiting an hour. And he had a reservation at a better place, but he had to cancel it because she made them late. So that's why she went to the Cheesecake.
That's a big part of
which,
the story.
by the way, is a very fun restaurant.
I was going to say, I want to stand up for the Cheesecake Factory because I go there every week. Paloma has ACT prep, and there's a Cheesecake Factory 5 minutes away. Sarah and I agree that they make the best dirty...
Blue cheese stuffed olives in a dirty martini.
In a dirty martini.
It's really good.
I order it. with the Tex-Mex egg rolls, and I also order it with the chicken dumplings. And I have a very nice time, and everybody's lovely.
Don't leave out the corn tamale cake.
And the corn tamale, they don't carry them anymore.
I know. Can you believe that?
But I'm very surprised because there's also a debate online about like places that you should never take a first date. I must be a very cheap date because I like Chili's. I like Chipotle.
I like Olive Garden.
I like Olive Garden. Buffalo Wild Wings makes very
Red
good
Lobster,
lemon pepper wings. The biscuits at Red Lobster.
Okay, by the way, for anybody else who was wondering there, you see the white woman in the I don't know what the hell her name is. The white woman in the black and white zebra stripes there. The one who was sitting up there clapping before.
Girls, make your own money so you don't have to care where he takes you.
Thank you.
Make your own money.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that you all understand. By the way, Jason's not deceiving you about this. They're all up there clapping. You can't see Sonny, but they're up there clapping. She's sitting up here clapping about that, but take a look at the about face that she does. She's sitting up there naming the places with them. So all of a sudden, she does a 180 right after she's finished co-signing this. Then they turn around and do a 180. No wonder young females are so screwed up and schizophrenic about the advice that they get. These women literally talk out of both sides of their mouths, literally within 60 seconds. Talk about gone in 60 seconds.
Also order it with the chicken dumplings. And I have a very nice time, and everybody's lovely.
Don't leave out the corn tamale cake.
And the corn tamale, they don't carry them anymore.
I know. Can you believe that?
But I'm very surprised because there's also a debate online about like places that you should never take a first date. I must be a very cheap date because I like Chili's. I like Chipotle.
I like Olive Garden.
I like Olive Garden. Buffalo Wild Wings makes very
Red
good
Lobster,
lemon pepper.
Okay, one more time just so you can hear. The woman who was just sitting there clapping, make your own money so you don't have to care where he goes. You don't have to go to a Cheesecake Factory. Okay, and what's on her menu?
I must be a very cheap date because I like Chili's. I like Chipotle.
I like Olive Garden.
I like Olive Garden.
Okay, you heard. I like Olive Garden, which, by the way, can we just keep it real? Olive Garden compared to Cheesecake Factory? All right, fine. All right. By the way, wow, that changed quickly now, didn't she? Make your own money. Make your own money so you can go to Olive Garden? Make your own money so you don't have to care where he takes you. Make your own money so you can go to Olive Garden. Really? All right.
Buffalo Wild Wings makes very
Red
good
Lobster,
lemon pepper wings. The biscuits at Red
But there
Lobster.
was some on the list I agreed with. Don't take me to a gym on the first day. I don't want to hear you breathing right away. Like,
and I don't want you judging me.
I don't want to be in my gym clothes. Don't take me to church on the first date because faith should be personal. Show me you live by it. Don't take me to church.
You can meet somebody at church.
But here's the reality.
Your place is dangerous.
That's creepy. That's creepy.
If you're into the person, they can take me to a McDonald's. And I like McDonald's, but like they could take
Have
me
you
to
had their
a parking
McFlurries?
lot.
They're amazing.
Did you all see how quickly this little bimbette changed? Yay! Make your own money! Yay! As soon as they came back around to her, she went from Olive Garden to McDonald's, damn it! She was like, oh, wait a minute, caught herself for a moment. The reason she caught herself, oh, wait a minute, I'm on national television, aren't I? Oh, men around the world can see me, can't they? Oh boy, man, I better not mess this up for my next husband. Better not screw this up. So do you all realize, I think what happened when she caught herself, oh, wait a minute, damn it, I'm on national TV. If you all agree that these women are the reason that these young females out here today got so much damn bad advice, bad behaviors, bad attitudes, and bad ideologies, give me the fire emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's 2,000 people in here in just the first 18 minutes. If folks not liking the program, we'll just go ahead and end it early. But if you agree with what I'm saying here tonight, give me the fire emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. Now, this chick done gone from repping make your own money to Olive Garden, and then she's like, oh, that's a little too much. McDonald's. And then she's going to try to walk that backwards.
Faith should be personal. Show me you live by it. Don't take me to church.
You can meet somebody at church.
But here's the reality.
Your place is dangerous.
That's creepy.
That's creepy, yes.
If you're into the person, they can take me to a McDonald's. And I like McDonald's, but like they could take
Have
me
you
to
had their
a parking
McFlurries?
lot.
They're amazing.
You could take me to a parking lot and I'd be like, this is fine. You could take me to the nicest restaurant.
Don't take them to a parking lot. This is date like, honey.
That's dangerous.
But
Yeah, this woman here, I don't know if she's trying to be the damn comic relief. This woman here in the pink with the turtleneck, I don't know if she thinks she's being the comic relief, but then you're talking too much.
Show me you live by it. Don't take me to church.
You can meet somebody at church.
But here's the reality.
Your place is dangerous.
That's creepy.
That's creepy, yes.
If you're into the person, they can take me to a McDonald's. And I like McDonald's, but like they could take
Have
me
you
to
had their
a parking
McFlurries?
lot.
They're amazing.
You could take me to a parking lot and I'd be like, this is fine. You could take me to the nicest restaurant.
Don't take them to a parking lot. This is date like, honey.
That's dangerous.
But you could take you to the nicest restaurant, and if you, to Joy's point, if you're not into them, it's not going to really make a difference.
Danny took me to Popeyes.
That's a good move.
Our first date was at Popeyes.
Love that.
My first date.
Popeyes.
That's a good point. If you're not into them, it's not going to really make a difference.
Danny took me to Popeyes.
That's a good move.
Our first date was at Popeyes.
All right, so y'all got to understand, you're listening to them here now. At first, it was clap for making your own money. That's what they telling the young girls, but then they turn around. Oh, by the way, he took me to Popeyes. Okay, do you all really, here's the issue, here's the problem with what Sunny is doing. Here's the problem with this signifying she's trying to do. Do you all think that Sunny Hostin is going to be with a man if she thought the best she could get out of him was Popeyes? Do you really believe that? Do you think she's giving a value judgment of she's okay with this as a normal piece of life? Or do you really think that she's sitting there saying, okay, I'll do this Popeyes thing once because this dude got the bag. So let me go ahead. I'll trudge through this Popeyes thing, but I'm on my way to the bag. Every female will do that. She's like, okay, whatever he says here, that he can do it the first time, but it ain't gonna be a second one. Let me go ahead and let me go ahead and get through this right here. And once we get through that, all right, then we can get to something else. If a fella is papered up and caked up and she's on the damn last train leaving, then hell yeah, she's gonna sit up here and, oh, I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah, this is your damn last train leaving. You can't give that advice to 20-year-old, 25-year-old females. That's not their, just because you own your last train ticket doesn't mean they're on theirs. So just understand, young females can't even get reliable information. In the chat room, Danny Lahai or Danny Lajai, I'm so glad you said that because I'm going to open up the telephone lines here in just a minute so you can go ahead and give us a phone call. Since we are reaching, I'm so glad you said that, Danny, because you're going to be required to call in so you can explain to all of us exactly how we're reaching here. You can go ahead and let us know about how far we're reaching and what we're wrong about. I'm so glad you weighed in. So you'll have your opportunity here in just a little bit to go ahead and explain that to us, just for our edification. So thank you very much for weighing in. If you want to know why it is that young women can't get reliable information or advice, this is because this is what the old hoes are talking about. This is what they're doing. This is what they're doing on national television. False flagging across the damn board. Giving you advice to do things that they didn't do and won't do today. But telling you it's okay for you to do that. That's the world we live in today. False flagging females talking to each other, feeding each other lines of bull crap day in and day out, and then sitting up here telling you, okay, that's great and everything. They grab their entertainment check. They go home to their husband, whether he's a sucker ass simp or not. By the way, she got somebody to pay for her Popeyes. She's got somebody to pay for her Olive Garden while telling you, get your own. You're going to get you a job and so you don't have to care what he thinks. Meanwhile, she got a fella to pay for her Chili's. She got that. Just saying. So they bring out these lists here, and of course, because the internet is undefeated, the men didn't take them very long to show up. So the fella said, by the way, we like Bobby Brown, too, can play this game. Here's a list of things men refuse to pay for if we are not married. Bills. A lot of these females out here need to get the damn memo. Hey, baby, if your name is on the light bill, then your dollar needs to be on it too, ma'am.
And deal with it, nigga.
Just saying. Rent. Baby, how the hell you expect a man to pay your damn rent? You the one living under the roof. House, car, hair, nails. Your nails are on your fingers, aren't they? Bags, purses, jewelry, designer, vacation, furniture to go in your crib. There are some fellas listening to me right now. You have furnished some heifer's house and she is laying on that damn thing right now with another dude. Ain't that a damn shame? You done paid for that and she's on the couch right now with another fella. The couch you paid for. And she is on it with another dude as we speak. All four corners of the mattress. You paid for the bed and she broke it off. And I feel for you, brother. I feel for you. You have my sympathy. Damn! Just saying, there's some fellas listening to me right now. You went way beyond paying for a purse. You done furnished. Some of y'all have bought these heifers houses. Y'all have bought them houses. What? I don't know how you getting along. Most niggas would be sick if they bought a chick a handbag and she broke up with them. Some of you dudes in here, y'all done bought houses. You bought homes. You two are broke up. She's still in the home today with another nigga at your place that you paid for. Right there by the kitchen table that you paid for. Oh, man. I'm just saying. Putting this in perspective. Just putting it in perspective. Furniture to go in your crib. Plastic surgery. Bottles at the club. Za. I'm not sure what that is. Pills. Car repairs. Car repairs. What is it with these young hoes in Florida? Oh, I'm calling them out. How in the world are you going to be sitting up here? There is something about these chicks, these young chicks who can't afford to live in Florida. They're expecting dudes to pay their bills, their rent, and their raggedy ass car repairs. Baby, if you got a car repair within 2 years of buying the car, that's your first sign that maybe you need to be on the bus. Okay, in the chat room, they say Zai's weed. So, all right, you got to pay for your own blunts. Pills. Okay, so she can't pay for her own Xanax. All right. Car repairs. Food for another man's kid. Damn. Oh, come on now. Come on now. There's a big one, isn't it? Folks, a heifer will sit up here and expect you to sit up here and feed the whole damn family at her place like it's Thanksgiving every week, won't they? They run up on these dudes out here. I remember one time, I tell this story before. Here I was, I'm driving by Red Lobster. Will you please explain to me why? I'm seeing this dude, and as a matter of fact, he looked like the fella in this picture. He looked like him except for the mama's boy mushroom on top of his head. Fellas, let the mama's boy mushroom go. But he's looking like this fella right here. One of these old niggas. Folks, a true story. I'm telling you this on a stack of Bibles. I'm seeing him walk out to the car. Looks like he's walking out with a chick who's about 15, 20 years younger than he is. He looked like he's about 58, 59 years old, ready to punch that SSI chick. And next thing you know, here she comes down the steps and got 2 young children with her. And I'm like, well, you look at this fella here. And they're getting into a Chevy Camaro. They're getting into his Chevy Camaro. And I'm like, boy, I'm telling you, if I overpaid and desperate was a person, Jason, what if they're his kids? Then he's even dumber than he looks. Car repairs, food for another man's kid. Folks, ladies, if you gave birth, if another man helped you get pregnant with them, he needs to help you feed them. I don't need you. Let the welfare feed you. Let's be very, very clear about that. If another man got you the kids, that man needs to get you their meal. How you gonna sit up here and make an expense with another man and then pass the bill on to somebody else? What in the world you living in? Gas, that goes with the car. Uber, Lyft, that's the substitute for gas. DoorDash, snacks, yo tithes. Boy, if you're paying the woman's tithes, oh, it is rough for you out here. If you are paying for her tithes. Okay. And because life just isn't hard enough on its own, because life just isn't hard enough by itself, there is yet another list, because the females just will not take an L. They just won't take a L. By the way, look at those fingers. Is she auditioning to be Lady Deathstrike? For all my Marvel Comics fans, or for the rest of you, look it up. All right. The ladies strike back a new list of the men that have no business dating, period. Men with toddlers or younger. Now, folks, this is the reason why you can't get into an argument with the average female today, because when they lose, rationality goes out the window. The majority of men do not have children. The majority. The majority of men don't have children. Most of the females are walking around out here with bastard babies. And yet acting like, well, the men do. No, we ain't got the same issues, ma'am. We don't have the same issues. We really don't. This is called projection. You wish we had this problem, but we don't.
And deal with it, nigga.
This is just insulting to our intelligence. It really is. Number 2, men that live with their mama. While these heifers out here are crashing on the couch with random niggas having survival sex. These chicks are out here having survival sex. A nigga they met 2 months ago, and then they living on his couch, not visiting, living there. Survival sex is a female phenomenon. Men that live with a baby mama. And meanwhile, you're the baby mama. By definition, she's already with him. What are you talking about? So she didn't turn it down. She jumped in with all 4 feet. DL men. Once again, when has that prevented the females? Don't y'all know Dwight Howard has females in his inbox right now as we speak? What? Oh, you know I'm telling the truth. Dwight Howard has females in his inbox as we speak. There's some women in his inbox talking about, oh, don't worry, that ain't nothing that some dial soap can't fix. Y'all know it? Oh, in the chat room you said Usher and Diddy. All right, well, just saying. Folks know what's going on. By the way, people are not liking the program here tonight, so after I talk to Danny, I'll go ahead and wrap things up here. Men that don't have a valid driver's license. What about hoes who ain't got a car? Men that bank with CashApp. What about chicks who bank with food stamps? Men that sag their pants. Okay, well, y'all should stop doing that. Men that don't take care of their kids. But that doesn't prevent you from being baby mamas, so okay. Don't you understand? These chicks will sit up here and have 3 or 4 kids with a nigga who ain't seen his child in a year or 2, and then sit up, she's still having sex with him and telling you, This what we shouldn't be doing right here. That ain't no good, man. While she's still laying up with that dude, she's not requiring him to take care of his kids, and she's still jumping into bed with him. While telling you as well, I'm trying to keep my body count down. Man, your body count's already from here to Saskatchewan. Give it up, heifer. Men that disrespect women. Who gets to define what disrespect is? Because if her definition is anything that she doesn't like, well, then that means if you're not kissing her ass, you're not being respectful. So that one doesn't qualify. Men that don't own a suit, but you ain't. We're talking about chicks who don't wear drawers complaining about men who don't wear suits. We're talking about chicks who wear their pajamas to the lobby of a 5-star hotel. Talking about men who, I wouldn't date a man who doesn't own a suit. Open up her closet, it's nothing but house shoes and kids. Talking about men who don't wear suits. Are you kidding me? Men that live in motels. Oh, well, they just go right next door to the heifers who live there. Hey, baby, what's going on? Men that want to hold a couple dollars till they get paid. If you got him, he's got it. Men whose clothes are in tubs. Okay? Men that can't log into anything without help. Folks, I work for the largest telecoms on this planet. Do you want to know who the 90% of the people calling for help with passwords were? I'll let you decide that for yourself. Could it be the same group who can't keep up with their student loans? What? By the way, do you think or guess it could be the same group that doesn't keep up with their student loans? So the folks who can't keep up with their student loans, logging into everything. The only thing they're logging into without help is Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, or any other thought program out there. That they can get in that one real good. They don't need any help with that. For literally everything else, go to the Apple store. You go to the Apple store and go up to the repair desk. Go to the Apple store, walk by the Apple store on any random day, and at the repair desk, the geniuses, you go and take a look and see who's sitting on those stools back there. It's like a singles bar for females with their busted up iPhones and their messed up. She can't even get the fingerprint scanner to work. Talking about can't log in without help. Men that got to tell their mama everything. Now, this is an insult. So the most gossipy people on the planet are talking about, well, you talking to your mama. She's talking to Facebook, damn it. Men don't have to guess what's going on in women's lives. Just log on to Facebook. There it all is right there, like the daily news. You talking to your mama. She talking to everybody. Men that work in the FedEx hub. Okay. Men that work for a temporary service. Here's the issue. His temporary job can become permanent. Can you get your baby daddy to marry you? Truck drivers. Does that include the UPS truck drivers who just signed a contract that gets them topped out at $174,000 a year? Does that include those truck drivers too? By the way, does that include them? See what I'm talking about? When you let the women sit up here and come on with something like this, it turns silly real quick. You didn't think this list over before you made it, did you? You didn't think this list over at all before you made it, did you? You just started writing stuff down and then clapping with each other. Yay, truck drivers. Yay! Fellas who work at the FedEx hub. Yay, you go, girl. By the way, did you ask how much they make working at the FedEx hub? All right. Them grand rising men. Okay, well, here's the problem. Fellas wouldn't be saying grand rising if it didn't work. Them what you doing men. Once again, they in your inbox and they wouldn't be saying it if it didn't work. Men with multiple kids and baby mamas. You said that already. Men that bash women on social media. Define bashing. Men that have to load their card to add money to it. Men that don't keep their locks up. Men that hairline garm, but they keep holding on. Men that always talk about what they used to have. These are the same chicks right here who will marry an old nigga in a minute if he's got some benefits. He's sitting here talking about that 79 Fleetwood Brougham. Meanwhile, his hips don't work. All right. Married men. Okay. Men without transportation. Men that are Cowboys fans. So, like I say, trust me, this is straight comedy. You don't actually have a point. You're not shaming anybody but yourselves. So if you wanted people to laugh at you, you certainly succeeded at that. Okay, here's what I really want to do here, and then I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines and probably get Zoom up and going. Hopefully no technical difficulties this week. We will see. Audio ducking be damned. Here's the issue here, folks. Here's the issue. The issue with this entire scenario / fiasco. Here is the issue. The issue is that in order for a woman to be picky, she's got to earn the right to do that. Let's be very, very clear. A woman can be picky. Yes. A woman can be picky if a woman is looking a certain way and presenting a certain way, and most importantly, acting and behaving and comporting herself a certain way. Well, yeah, she can be picky. She can make demands. She can sit up here and be a little ornery. Well, yeah, she can do that because that's where her value is. When a woman who clearly doesn't have that value is insulting your intelligence by acting as if she does, that she is talking way above her pay grade, but ragging you for it, fellas don't understand when they've been targeted. Males today don't understand when they've been targeted. Females can see when you are weak, when you are lame, when you're not used to female attention, when they can get over easy. They can see that, and you're the fella they're going to hit and present you with the bill for the last 5 or 6 guys for all the stuff she didn't get from them, or what she was getting and talked her dumb ass out of. Now she's sticking you with the bill and saying, you got to take up where they left off at, because I can't take a L. Well, ladies and gentlemen, these are the rules so that you understand why this video was so egregious. Look it up. Why this video was so incredibly offensive, skit or not, the attitude that real world females have, which mirrors this perfectly. If you want to know why it was offensive, it's because you're violating this. You're violating this. If men deliver a higher lifestyle to a woman is supposed to provide a higher status to a man. Average 4 female isn't raising a man's status. You want him to take you to restaurants and to locales that you can't get in yourself, and you can't afford it because that's why women carry so much consumer debt. I'm going to go make my own money. No, you're just going to make your own credit card bills. You're just going to make your own balance that you carry from month to month. You want the men to foot this bill. Well, okay, the problem is that bill is above your pay grade. It is above that. And the reason it's above it is because you want a $300 meal while you brought $15 of femininity. You brought $15 in value. And telling him what he's supposed to be giving up for you. Not even being nice about it. And that's the point we made. Skit or not, she has the build of the average female today. And they'll be sitting there telling the man, well, you're doing too much. Ma'am, you brought $20 in femininity. I'll see you at Sonic. And a woman will sit there and acknowledge that she's got flaws out the ass and then still tell you about, but I know my worth. She's bringing 5 of Ray Ray's bastard kids and still telling you, I know my worth. She's bringing a narcissistic attitude and telling you, I know my worth. So I know my worth is female code for give me something for nothing. But ladies in particular and people in general, the reason why it's offensive is because if a man delivers a higher lifestyle to a woman, if she's expecting him to foot a higher lifestyle, then the requirement is that she return the favor by boosting his status. And the point that I'm making is that nobody is looking at this, no offense, ma'am, but nobody's looking at this and saying, yep, this will raise my status. Walking through the door, why, this will raise my status among other people. That's the problem. That's the problem. He's going to raise your lifestyle and all you're going to do is raise his debt. You're not raising his status. There's nobody saying, you know what? I would go buy the house for her. I'd buy the car for her. Like, no, this dumbass simp nigga over here gonna do it. And that's why she's pressing you the way she is. Nobody else is doing it, but if she knows you're desperate and hungry and thirsty and haven't been anywhere, then she's gonna sit there and say, okay, let me go ahead and press him and see how much I can get out of him. And it's not about being fair. It's not about being right. It's about how much can I take? How much can I get? How much can I take? How much can I juice you for? How much can I take from him? No, you haven't done anything wrong except get to know me, apparently. But you haven't done anything wrong besides that. So that's why they're talking the way that they are here, and that's what's so egregious about what you're seeing. That's the problem with it. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933, your personal access code to the program that all your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch. I'm the guy they talk about. I'm the guy they listen to. It's your opportunity to go ahead and speak here as well on the only program that does this on the level that we do. We're going to go ahead and get that available for you as well. Let me also go ahead and open up the Zoom for you all. We'll go ahead and put the link to the Zoom in the chat. Remember that Zoom does get priority. However, on Zoom, just remember you have to have your microphone and your camera on for us. That's all we ask for you on Zoom. That's all we need there. Let me go ahead and get the phone lines back up and going here. The telephone number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933, your personal access code to the business. We're going to see if we can go ahead and get the phone lines going for you here. Also, got that going through there. They're waiting for that to go ahead and go live here in just a moment. By the way, if you did want to talk here tonight, and they always do, of course, the sooner you call in, the better. You always get people complaining because I didn't get to speak to you. Well, did you call in early? Well, you see, my baby mama and me was arguing. Well, all right, well, there went your call-in time. I know in many places it's a full moon tonight, so try to keep yourselves contained if you can. Let's go ahead and get caller from area code 434. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Jay here is calling from Raleigh. Came to give an update.
All right, Jay from Raleigh, what's on your mind?
Yeah, so job's going pretty well. I am eligible to take my training for Greenbelt certification in Six Sigma, which I'm going to do with this different university. Then I'm going to take my black belt afterwards. I don't know how long it'll take, but as long as I get it done pretty quickly. I think I'm going to stay at this employer for about 3 to 4 years. They told me that's about the length of time it will be before I'm good at this job. He said that's how much of a learning curve it is, about 2 to 3 years.
All right, well, that's a step in the right direction, so I'm glad to hear that's coming along for you here. And remember, consistency is key. Discipline gets you in the door, but consistency will determine whether or not this becomes something you can use. So I'm glad to hear that. Now I need for you to check.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I need you to check back with me here because we need to have an update on that. I need for you to check back with me here in 90 days.
All right.
Oh, he got down when I said that. He's like, really? Well, I got to do it again. Yes, I want to hear from you again in 90 days because now we need to check up and see if we got consistency down.
Okay.
All right.
That's no problem.
And by the way, I'll be requesting paperwork next time.
All right.
Oh boy, he got real meepish when I said that. Okay, no, brother, I'm not. You don't get to call me up and just give me a story. Oh, that's good. Let me go ahead and collect. No, we don't do that. So get ready to present our documents.
Yeah, I should have it by then.
All right, we'll be in touch. I don't discuss high value men. I build high value men. Although in his case, I'm kind of wondering if the fraud is in there. Kind of wondering if the fraud is in there. He's like, all right. Call him area code 713. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Texas.
Okay, your phone is breaking up on you. Try again.
This is Danny. I'm calling from Houston, Texas.
Danny from Houston, Texas. And what's on your mind?
You guys asked me to call in, so I called in.
Okay, ma'am. Well, if you were asked to call in, then you already know why you were asked to call in. So let's not play around.
Okay, I was asked to call in because of my comments about the list that everyone's talking about. As you can see, a lot of this stuff is just coming up, but it's all created by men. So you have the skit that was put together with the Cheesecake Factory. A guy put that together. A guy put together a list about all of the restaurants not to take women on a first date. And then another man put together a list of what women were not to date, what women not to date. And it's just the men all arguing with each other or just trying to create or have women look stupid. Black women.
Okay, well, first of all, that's not what you said. So once again, folks, we tell people call in because they get real cowardly about their words. So just understand, already she's showing her cowardice. So let this be a reflection of her character or that lack thereof. You said y'all are reaching. So you're too cowardly to even stand by your words. And I just want everyone to be aware, by the way, when you see her words in the chat room, just understand this is the level of courage she's got. She won't even stand by the words that she said that got her required to call in. So let that speak to her character.
Okay. Right. I said you guys were reaching during the video for The View.
Oh, but that's even different from the list right there. So she's talking about the men made the list. Okay, now she's talking about they were reaching during The View. So just understand, she's not going to even stand by her own words. So let that speak for itself, but I won't belabor the issue. So what were we reaching about The View?
Okay. So you have the women on there just saying, okay, well, hey, ladies, make your own money. If you make your own money, you don't have to worry about these things. Well, they're the bad guy for trying to make their own money, but they're also the bad guy for wanting to go to whatever kind of establishments or nice restaurants as well. It's like, which one is it? Y'all are saying that they're the bad guy or that they're wrong or that they're scallywags, whatever y'all want to call them, because they're giving out advice to make your own money. So if you're the type of person who wants luxury items, they're saying to those people, if that's what you want, go make your own money. Like you already said, the woman who in the video, if she's a 4 and a high value man isn't going to choose her, how else is she going to have those luxury experiences if she doesn't make her own money?
Okay, here's the problem. And here's where let me find out something here. How old are you?
I'm older. I'm 38.
Okay. Do you have any children?
No.
And how long have you lived in Houston?
My entire life.
Okay, she's 38. She lived in Houston her entire life. Now, the comments that you made there, let me go ahead and explain to everyone and clarify the flaws in this. Well, they're the bad guys if they get a job and make their own money. No, that doesn't make you the bad guys. Like anything else in life, what is your intent for doing so? And I clarified this when I made my comments before. Okay, get a job, that's fine. And I said, well, they're not saying get a job for the reason they tell a man to do it. Now, you never hear women get together in groups and say to men, get a job so that you don't have to care what a woman wants. Why, they tell you get a job and increase your income specifically so you can cater to what a woman wants. But you never hear anybody tell men, go and get you a job and make your own money so you don't have to care what a woman thinks. Now, they never say that. So this goes to the intent behind giving this type of wicked, manipulative, vicious advice. This is not constructive advice. This is combative, destructive advice. Meant to victimize somebody. Get your money together so you can come into conflict with someone else. So the intent is what matters there. Also, when you say, well, if a woman is a 4 and doesn't make a bunch of money, then how is she supposed to have these luxury experiences? Danny, do you understand that there are levels in this world?
I'm listening.
Yes, I'm asking, do you understand that there are levels in this world?
Yes, I do.
Everybody's not equal. If you're a foe, what do you need a luxury experience for? By definition, luxury products on the hierarchy, they're not a 4, they're a 8 or a 10 by definition. A Bentley is not a 4 car. A Mini Cooper is a 4 car. A Bentley is a 10. A Gucci, a Louis, a Prada, a Fendi is a 10. So how is it, this goes to the heart of this kind of thing. How is it that you're a female who's a 4 and yet you want a 10 handbag hanging off your shoulder? You want 10 shoes. You want to go to a 10 destination, a 10 resort, and you a straight up 4. What I'm saying is that those luxury experiences, they're wasted on a 4. So to make this statement that, well, we should democratize this, actually we shouldn't, because that destroys the value of it and drags it down for all the people who actually deserve and have earned being there because they match the experience. So you're not supposed to be giving out luxury experiences to 4s like Halloween candy. There's a reason that she doesn't have somebody willing to give it to her. There's a reason.
Okay, so by the same logic, if a man isn't at a 10 level financially, should he not have access to 8, 9, 10 level women?
Well, first of all, that'll be up to the women to decide, but in a perfect world, no, he wouldn't. In a perfect world, in the world in which we live, females who may be an 8 or 10, shout out Brittany Renner, they got body count, they got disgusting body counts out of this world. So in a perfect world, no, he should be with where he is at. If his life and his lifestyle is a 4, he needs to be with a 4. Shout out Lizzo and friends. Yeah, if his lifestyle is down there, he needs to have a woman who matches his level of status. His woman should reflect his status. And if his status is a 4, then he needs to have a woman who reflects that.
Okay.
Did you all notice the silence on the phone? No, she thought this was going to be.
No, there's silence.
She thought this
thing for a long time.
Yes, she thought that there was going to be there was going to be some conflict of logic. No, it's not. We are completely consistent. The reason why we're saying what we're saying is because the females are being inconsistent. They're trying to get something for nothing. Our principle is simple. You eat what you kill. You get what you've earned. And you shouldn't have this tremendous mismatch. A chick who looks like her daily diet is Popeyes and Sonic needs to be at Popeyes and Sonic. You go take a look at the menu at Emerald's restaurant. You go take a look at the menu at those places. A chick who looks like she's eating like that is like, wait a minute, how you going to tell me we're going to Emerald's? You don't look like Emerald's.
Right. You know, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but you've been to these restaurants and you can see who's in there. There's not bikini models in there. There's people of all races, of all ages, and trust and believe most of them aren't even 8.
Okay,
now that somebody doesn't deserve a luxury experience if they're a 4 or they're a 5, or
correct.
That men don't deserve to have a woman. If he's a 4, he can't have an 8. When we watch the movies all the time.
Okay, well you're correct about that, but however, it doesn't matter. Now that you said that, what's your point?
Right.
That someone who doesn't belong in the place can find themselves invading it. Well, yeah, what you're saying is true, but that doesn't make it. How does it make it right?
No. My point is that there isn't any issue. There's no issue with these lists that the people are putting out. There's no issue with what people want for themselves. If a lady is in a car and
there is a problem with what you want for yourself.
She wants to go.
No. There is a problem with what you want for yourself. There is a problem. Yes, there is.
It's not a problem for the person who's there with the person that's making these demands.
No, it is a problem if you articulate that you want something that is above the level that you deserve. Yes, that is a problem because it poisons the whole society by feeding into the delusion and narcissism of female culture that you're supposed to get something that you actually don't qualify for. It does no good whatsoever to take a 4 to a 10 restaurant because she's going to walk out a 4. She's not going to walk in a 4 and walk out with a 10. She's not going to walk out a 10 mentality. In other words, it's a waste of money. Now, while the law might allow or require the restaurant to honor your presence, that still doesn't mean that you belong there. Just because the government requires it does not mean you belong. It doesn't change the fact you really shouldn't be there. This is above your pay grade. It's above your status. This is above your station in life. And it's going to be a wasted experience. You're a Popeyes chicken girl. That's where you need to be because that's as much as you appreciate. That's as good of an experience as you appreciate. She doesn't appreciate anything better than that.
Right, but to your individual person or individual listener, it doesn't matter. People are going to you're going to have delusional people on all levels. Finding out what their delusion is just tells you that that person's not for you, to leave them alone and go to the next person. So if somebody's delusional and they think that they're the Queen of England, you sitting there arguing with them, telling them that they're not the Queen of England, it doesn't matter. You just don't date that person.
Yes, that's good. That sounds good on its face until you realize that that's female culture today. So that's not isolated to 1 or 2 females. It would be different if that was the minority, but it's not. That's the rule today. So there's the flaw in your thinking, or at least in that statement.
Right.
So those statements represent females in general, not a few of them.
Okay.
By the way, just out of curiosity, just between you, me, and a few thousand people, what size do you wear?
What size do I wear?
Yes, and be honest,
I'm
there
8.
will be a test.
I wear a size 8.
Okay, she sounds a little chunkier than an 8. Are you sure that's not an 8 after
I don't
the
sound
12?
chunky than 8. I wear 8, 9. That's what I wear.
Ma'am, I've done okay. The world can hear you on the phone right now, and I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just saying, okay, she sounds a little plumper than an 8.
That's so funny.
How tall are we?
I'm looking at the comments. I see. They say I sound like a 16.
Okay, how tall are we?
12.
How tall are we?
5'7".
5'7". And she wears an 8. You said 5'7" and you wear an 8?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the inseam on your jeans?
I don't know what my inseam is.
Oh, you don't know what the dimensions are? You don't know what the waist and the length are?
No, that's only on men's jeans.
Okay. So you don't know what the waist, you don't know what the waist or the length on your jeans is?
No, I shop off the rack. I don't have anything that's tailored, so I don't know. I can get a.
Okay. Yeah, baby.
Okay.
You just blew your cover. You just blew your cover. Now she shops off the rack. Yeah, the rack at Lane Bryant. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, buddy, that didn't take very long. Fellas, you're going to have to progress beyond some of the folks you were listening to a few years ago. It's not enough to ask a woman how tall she is or what her height is. I am taking you all to a new level. So you need to start updating your files.
Join me, and I will complete your training.
No, folks, we didn't stop doing, I didn't stop teaching you in 2020 or 2021 or 2022. We're still updating the files. We are not stopping the damn thing. So no, we've moved beyond what's your height and your waist. We've moved well beyond that. Well beyond that. So now you fellas know we're taking it to a whole new level here. Yeah, you need to ask the right questions. Let me ask you about the dimensions of your jeans. You should know that if you're 5'7" and a size 8, why, you should know what your dimension, you should know what your waist size is on that. You should know what that is. Folks, you can go to the Levi's website right now and go take a look at that. I don't know what that is. She's trying to figure out who am I? I'm 5'7". What would that be? Well, I don't know what that is. Okay. I'm buying off the rack. Yeah, the rack at Texas Roadhouse. She's buying off the rack at Texas Roadhouse. That's where she is. She's buying off the rack at Golden Corral. That's the rack she's buying off of. All right, let me go ahead and get over here on Zoom. I got Clover over here on Zoom. What's on your mind, brother?
Good evening, Jason Black. When this came out, this, of course, went super viral. Everybody in the world was pretty much talking about it. And it pretty much sparked off, a lot of conversations and debate on Facebook. And what I found out and learned that is, in accordance to the traditional values that, people are speaking about in regards to men and women and everything like that, it was quite surprising to learn that the younger generation had no idea that it was tradition for the father of the bride to actually pay for the wedding. I feel like this information has been lost through, from generation for some reason or another. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out to the public. And if you can please just elaborate on further in regards to...
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. There's a number of things that have been traditional that have been cast aside. However, you also have to be cognizant that you're not living in the same world either.
Correct. The
father of the bride paid for the wedding. Well, yeah, that was before the brides worked. That was before it was normal for the bride. Today, the father of the bride paid for the wedding. Yeah, because the bride still lived with dad.
Correct.
He was still protecting and providing for her. You got fellas sitting up here talking to chicks today who work at Microsoft and Apple. So we got a whole new dynamic. You have a whole new dynamic where that's involved. So what you're saying is traditional, but we don't live in that traditional world anymore. Now, everybody's trying to hold men. They're still trying to hold us to those traditional standards.
Right.
They're trying to shackle us to it. But for the females, like, oh no, you still get all the benefits. We want to require the men or pressure them to give you the benefits, but you don't have to uphold any of those traditional things. So
Correct.
This is where we're at today. So what you're saying is factual, but it's obsolete. Now, whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. Because here's the other problem. Most of these chicks today aren't getting married.
Right.
The few who do blow up their marriages within 3 to 5 years. So half of them end up divorced. So when you get down to it, it's not like you have a bunch of wife material. Now, the whole point of a father paying for the weddings, of course, is that you're going to take it a whole lot more seriously. If you have to pay for this, that's basically you signing off on it. And you're going to take this more seriously. Dude, these fellas, these girls up here today, more than half of them wasn't raised with a dad in the home in the first place. So
Right.
who's going to pay for the
Absolutely
damn wedding? You talking about your dad need to pay for the wedding? She going to hire a private eye to track that nigga down? She's got to get a private eye to track that nigga down. So it's that wasn't the way it was 40 years ago, 50
Right.
years ago. So welcome to a brave new world today. Us fellas just have to be very discerning. We have to be very critical. We're going to have to be very skeptical. We're going to have to vet things totally. We have to take all these factors and parameters into account before we make a move one way or the other. And these are wonderful things to have, but we don't, they're obsolete. Maybe they'll come back in fashion. Who knows? But they're obsolete.
Right. Agreed.
I'll let you have the last word.
That was pretty much it. That was the only thing I wanted to state. I just wanted to let you know that I'm a long-time listener. You've been doing a hell of a great job, and we just appreciate you very much. B1, I'm out.
B1, as always, thank you very much for giving us a call now. We appreciate that. Yeah, like I say, I mean, there's a whole bunch involved in there. Whole bunch involved. It's not going to be that easy. Let me go ahead and get back over to the telephone lines. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Let me get caller from area code 510. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Mr. Black, this is August from Oakland.
August from Oakland. What's on your mind?
Love the broadcast, long time listener. I just wanted to share a different perspective on this whole Cheesecake Factory thing that instantly hit me when it came out. So my whole thing is, a grown man, when he has an option of where to go out to eat even by himself, he shouldn't be eating in Chili's, Cheesecake Factory, and all that crap in the first place. So it says more about yourself than it says about the chick when you take her out, especially when on a first date when you're trying to present yourself. Like me, I'm not into like tricking on hoes or taking strange women out to eat at fancy restaurants. However, if I've made the decision that I'm going to take a young lady that I just met or who I've known, whatever, out to eat, this is also a presentation of myself. If you go to a 4 restaurant with a 4, nigga, you're a 4 too. When I see you walking in the Cheesecake Factory with that 4, I'm like, look at those 4s right there going into that 4 restaurant. So that's all I want to say.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and address that then. First of all, I mean, you're right. They're both a couple of 4s. They certainly would be. But the female doesn't think of herself as a 4 because, as I explained to Danny, if she's a 4 and yet she is getting 8 and 10 experiences, then we're deceiving her into thinking that she actually is an 8 or a 10. There's the problem.
Okay. Right. No, I totally agree. My thing is, though, like, even before you call the woman, like, when you want to go get something to eat, even before you make the decision to call the woman, this is supposed to be somewhere that you, where you would eat at in the first place. Like, I wouldn't get caught dead in Cheesecake Factory, so I wouldn't even take a 4 there because it's also a representation of myself. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand.
Well, I don't understand. Like, what is your grievance against Cheesecake Factory again? This will be interesting.
Well, one, just personal preference. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I'm a healthy eater. I'm from California. Like, I just don't eat crap. I need to know where my meat came from. I need to know, if there was organic ingredients. Try not to eat out as little as possible in the first place.
Okay. Well, I definitely understand that. I definitely understand that, and not to be insensitive to it. Certainly, I wish you well with your condition. But the majority of the population does not have that condition, and thus we're not hampered the same way. So,
that's why I said that with a disclaimer, like yes, I do have a condition. However, I don't not eat a Cheesecake Factory because I'm a diabetic. People with diabetes eat crap all day long.
Right. Well, I'll go even further.
Just made me more.
No, I'll go even further with it. I'll go even further with it. It's okay to go to a place where they serve outright junk food. I don't have a problem with that. Like, for example, months back here, well, a couple months back, it hasn't been too long, but I went to a pastry place. There's nothing in there that was, approved by any fitness trainer anywhere. But every once in a while, you can do that. Now, you certainly shouldn't have a steady diet of it, but then again, you shouldn't be going out to eat as a steady diet either. So I think there's a place in this world, certainly for even outright junk food. Think of it like going to the amusement park. You shouldn't live at Disney World or, Six Flags, but it's okay to go visit for a day and then go take your ass back home and act like you got some sense, because your life shouldn't be an amusement park. That's not healthy. But as far as going to those places and stuff and what the food is on the menu and things, I think the real issue is whether or not you have the point that you made, which is something I've said for years now, by the way, that if it's not a place that you were already wanting to go, going out to eat should be something you do for yourself. Because if a female is digging you, she's not interested in, she isn't requiring the restaurant, she's requiring your presence. She's perfectly cool just sitting on the couch and talking to you because the most important thing to her, the most valuable thing to her is getting to know you. Now, that's been my experience in life. If a female is into you, she don't really care about any of that. She wants to get to know you. What's happening, and this goes to your point about a 4 and a 4, we got a bunch of lame dudes who are actually meeting up with lame females. But because the lame females know how to play the game, the lame dude might have a lame job or slightly above lame job, so she can extract benefits from him. Because in his eyes, in your eyes, in my eyes, she's a straight foe, but because he's in a drought, she's an 8. Does that make sense?
For sure. Or, people these days got, like, feel when it comes to, like, a lot of women, they think and so it's like, I guess these you identify as or whatever. You identify as a 10, you can't be here and there or whatever. But I'm just saying that it's not really about the money about Cheesecake Factory. There's people that go up in there and spend hundreds of dollars. But I'm just saying, in your head, when you have an option of, I'm about to go spend $100 going out to eat, there's way more healthy, classier, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a class thing, too. If a female tells me she wants to go to Cheesecake Factory, I'm looking down my nose at her. Because that's, like you said, a 4 restaurant. Who eats there? You get on there.
Okay, well, I disagree. I disagree with that. I'm trying to figure out, okay. What to you would be a suitable restaurant that we would all identify?
For instance, I heard the ladies on The View, they were talking about Chipotle and all that, right? Chipotle is the same price as a taco truck in East Oakland. But people in the know that have culture, they know you get your food from the taco truck when you're in the Bay. When you're in Cali, you get your food from the taco truck. That's going to be better Mexican food than they got in Mexico. I'm telling you, if you don't know. That's where you get your Mexican food. It's authentic.
Okay, but sir, let me. No. Okay, you said that. Okay, we're dodging around my question here. You said Cheesecake Factory is a 4. Understood. Second time. So, what would be a place that all of us would identify? Name for us a place that all of us would recognize and identify that you consider to be suitable. If Cheesecake Factory is a 4, what would be an 8?
What would be an 8 to Cheesecake Factory? On to, a even a franchise steakhouse is better. Ruth Chris is better than that, but Ruth Chris ain't a real steakhouse to me either, right? So I'm saying, in comparison, if I have Cheesecake Factory money, a Ford restaurant, I would go to just an Italian restaurant, a local Italian restaurant that's going to serve me authentic Italian fare. I'm not going to go to Olive Garden,
they're not going to have as expansive a menu. They're not going to have as experienced and talented chefs. They're not going to have the ambiance. They're not going to have probably not going to have the customer service. So what exactly are you rating it on?
That's what I'm saying. What's the ambiance of Cheesecake Factory? They got one in the Lenox Mall and one in the Perimeter Mall in Atlanta.
Compared to a local mom and pop Italian restaurant, are you serious?
Like I said again, this personal preference, Mr. Black. That's why I use Chipotle as an example. It's more of a cultural thing. Like you would spend $20 for a white dude to be like, "Hey, you want some guacamole?"
Well, like I say, brother, I think you kind of lost us there. Your phone's breaking up on you, but thank you very much for giving us a call, folks. Like I say, it's just all right. Really? Cheesecake Factory's a 4, Ruth's Chris is an 8, even though there's practically no difference between the trappings and everything else. There's all right, man. The Mexican food truck. Cheesecake Factory is a 4. The Mexican food truck is a 6 or an 8. I'm sorry. Cheesecake Factory is a 4, but the Mexican food truck on the side of the Santa Monica is an 8. Just making sure I got that straight there now. What? All right. No disrespect there, but
boy, what in the hell's the matter with you?
Caller area code 212. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Jason. I'm Nicole from New York. How are you?
All right, Nicole. Which borough?
Brooklyn.
All right. What's on your mind, Nicole?
So I just wanted to comment on two things. First, I think it's interesting that this is even a controversy, because to me it was never a controversy. I believe that if a guy who's super classy and would never go to Cheesecake Factory and only goes to upscale restaurants, if that's the guy that you're going to attract, then that's the guy you're going to attract. I think that if you have to always keep asking for a certain man and a certain type of treatment all the time, it's because you can't get it. And that's that. I don't think it's even, controversial. I think people can ask for whatever they want, but whether you get it or not depends on what you look like and who you are. At the end of the day, you can ask all day, but your actual real life, real world outcomes are going to determine what your value is to other people. And I think that's why women have made this into such a big controversy, because women, we understand, even if we don't want to admit it, that what a man is willing to do for us determines what our value is out in the world. You can have a high value for yourself, but your own self-evaluation doesn't have any value out in the real world. What has value out in the real world for a woman is how men perceive you, is what they...
Yeah, but there's the game. That's the whole point, is that the game now has become, how do I get a disproportionate value, an unfair value? Yeah, I know I'm a 4, but I want the treatment that the 10s get, even if I'm not doing what the 10s do. I want what they get anyway. Yeah, now, how do you deal with that is the question.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Sorry, the question is how do you deal with that? A culture now, it's not just one or two females. It is female culture in America today, common female culture, that you're walking around here a 4 on your weight loss journey, but you're demanding the same treatment that the 10s get because it's nice over there. Yeah, but you're not a 10. Well, I should get that anyway. Now it becomes this fight to grab a dumb, feckless simp who's willing to finance your way to it without you ever actually having to become it. So what do you do with that?
Yes. Well, I think that women are trying to gaslight everyone into believing that lower quality women are supposed to get higher quality results. I think the controversy and all the fighting is because it's not really working. Men are, some men are buying into it, but I think most men are pushing back against it because you can't, I speak for myself. There's been times I pushed my way into environments that were higher end and at a higher level than what I really was. And I completely agree with you. It was a complete waste of money, a waste of experience. Because I think part of the experience for women is when someone, like, we can't validate ourselves, right? So I can say all day I deserve to be at a certain restaurant, but when I get there, you know if you should be there or not. You can't validate yourself. And
not true.
I think that we're
that's a misconception there. That is a misconception.
Okay.
You're speaking objectively, and I understand that. But what I'm saying is that when you're dealing with a widespread contagion, we got damn me fat acceptance now and body shaming. We got that. So what you're saying is mathematically accurate, but it is socially obsolete at this point because you've got that's what you're being told. You got Lizzo rumbling her big ass out there on stage, and since most of her audience resembles her, they're telling themselves, well, she's famous, therefore that's the treatment I should expect. And then that now migrates to I should get what Lizzo gets. And then that migrates to not only should I get what Lizzo gets, I should also get what Beyonce gets. I should get what Rihanna gets. And it goes on and on from there. So you're right. It's about their willingness to believe. But we also need to understand what it is they're trying to believe.
Working, though, because there's always some controversy with them complaining. And if it was really working, I don't think there would be so much controversy and complaint. Like when Lizzo was out here trying to push up on Chris Evans, that was a no-go. She hit a wall with that. So I think, they could try and they may get placated for a while, but at the end of the day, I don't really think it's really working.
Well, no, it does. It does. It's not going to work for most, because the numbers are not there. There's not enough men to do that. What they tell themselves is they're going to get a highly desirable man. Is what they tell themselves. I'm going to get a highly desirable guy, and he's going to take care of that. And what actually ends up happening is they wind up getting stuck with a substandard dude. Now, there's where they end up getting at, because that's the only one who's a fellow who's mocked, a fellow who's ridiculed, a fellow who is not admired. So, yeah, you can get your meal paid for, but since the fellow doesn't have the status, the food doesn't taste nearly as good. That's what I meant by you're a 4 walking into a place with 10s. If you're in a place with 10s, you're supposed to be walking in with people who make $500,000, $1 million or more. They've got the lifestyle that that going to those places like Emerald's is a part of their lifestyle. It is not just, a once a year anniversary visit. That's the issue. Now, granted, these places wouldn't be able to stay in business without these casuals coming through there. And yes, we certainly understand that. But the menus tell you who are the folks who they cater to. And that's why the casuals come through. Like, damn, this 1%er life tastes pretty good. Yeah, it does. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 630. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Jason. This is Nick from Chicago by way of Houston.
Nick from Chicago. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I took up my head long enough to see this on a couple of statuses on Facebook, and my take on it is I really don't take any women out to eat, and any woman that's dually interested in a man will pay. If I want to go somewhere, which I really don't go out to eat kind of like the other guy, except he was kind of weird. The one that was talking about Cheesecake Factory is a 4 or something. That was just a strange thing. But I really don't go out to eat for my own personal preferences. The last person I actually did take out before I decided, like, if I want to, I will. I'll put it that way. If I want to go somewhere, I'm going to go somewhere, and I might just say, hey, whichever that chick is, they can come along with me. But I really don't go out to eat like that. And the last person that I went where I was doing it on purpose before I knew better, it was some small restaurant or something like that, and she was raising up the bill, and it came out to $50. Now, this chick was trying to gaslight me. And she was saying, oh, guys do this, guys do that. They take me here, they take me there. I mean, she was looking good for her and everything like that. And I was just like, I don't think so. And so she's trying to argue me that. Now,
well, here's my thing is that when you go
got the receipt.
Well, here's my thing, though. Slow down, Nick. If you're going to go out, first
Yeah.
and foremost, like I tell everybody all the time here, if you do go out, it certainly should be to a place you want to go to. I don't, as far as going out to eat and stuff and requiring expecting a female to pay for it, I have an issue with that. And the issue I would have with that is because that is not asserting yourself as the financial leader. So I would have an issue with that. That doesn't mean that the female can't pay sometimes. That's okay. But you can't say being the financial leader isn't something you say, it's something you do. Just like leading. I don't have to tell you this is what I am. This is what I am because this is what I do. There's no conversation. The most powerful communication is nonverbal communication. So what I'm saying is if you give that up, if you surrender that, that's a problem. The other thing is I'm also, as time has gone on, I got to let fellas know this. Fellas, you got to feed the troops. You got to feed the troops. There's a bunch of fellas out here got their woman on life support. Her ribs are showing. Fellas, if she's on the squad, if she's in the army, you got to feed the troops. So sometimes you got to take them out. You got to show them something. You got to take them to a nice place. You got to take them to the resort because you're feeding the troops. And what I'm saying is that if she's not worth that, then that should be reflected in how much time you spend. If this is your full-time woman and yet you're sitting up here literally telling me that she's only worth pennies on the dollar, then I'm like, well, how the hell? That tells me about you if this is your full-time chick. If she is worth it, then she ain't supposed to be sitting up here living on bugs and eating leaves in the woods. So you got to feed the troops. Because that's a reflection of the army and the group that she's a member of. So if you are a well-run army, if you're a well-run military, then your troops are supposed to be fed. They can't fight if they're famished.
Right, I agree with that. I think I need to clarify something. I mean, as far as when they were talking about this first date thing, in that context alone. When I'm first meeting somebody, I'm under the aspect I don't need to go on a date, quote, date with somebody to get to know them. If I'm taking somebody seriously, yeah, I'll pay for wherever we're going and wherever they are coming out or anything like that. And when I brought up the woman earlier about the $50, she was trying to gaslight me, like people were taking her to some upscale places, but her eyes bugged out as if she wasn't used to a $50 bill. So I'm just like, she's used to going to McDonald's or something like that with some guys, which the conversation was going in that direction. I wasn't interested, so I didn't take anything further from that. Because, like, the whole purpose was I'm enjoying myself. She happened to be the person I invited, wanted a good-looking woman to be with me. Conversation was dead, so I didn't go any further than that. But, yeah, I agree with you. As far as the first date, that's what I mean there. So would you disagree even still with that? Because I don't really believe in going out to these restaurants. I think that's kind of boring, to be honest.
Well, I mean, certainly it would depend on the value of the female. Because as far as I'm concerned, and I've told you all this for years, my time is more valuable than my money. So if she wasn't worth that, then how much time did you give her? You notice I keep circling back around to that. It's like, okay, if you want to say this chick is worthy of a minimal amount of expenditure, I get that. But then my next question is, by the way, how much time are you giving her? Because you can make more money. You can't get more time. So the amount of time that you're expending on her should be commensurate with the amount of, certainly with the amount of money. So there's my real question. Y'all will sit up here and spend 10 hours a week on the phone with a chick and then want to spend $50 when you finally do take her out. And I'm like, this is imbalanced. How was she worth so much time but not worth anything else?
I get what you're saying.
Now, if she's just the jump off or whatever, then she doesn't require a meal. If it's just sex, there's plenty of them out there. That doesn't require a meal. You should be able to get sex with no meal on it, because she should want to have that with you, as I said before, just to be in your presence. Although I'm very glad that we segued into that, because that also is what leads into the issue that I've been describing. Because, for example, you'll have a guy who makes $200,000 a year, but you might find him in bed with a 6 or a 4. And that now leads her, but he didn't have to spend any money on her. He didn't have to go out of his way. She might have spent money on him to go out, for example. But guess what? Whether she paid for the meal or not, even if she did, the most valuable thing is him. Her simply being able to qualify to be in his company has now convinced her that that's where she ranks at now. Okay, I had to pay for the meal, but now that's where I rank at. So just recognize that can be an issue here.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And like I said, as far as me, when I'm getting to know somebody, if I meet them out, I know that you said before there are certain places that you would go to that would be natural filters. I've done things differently, and as I've listened to you, especially on Patreon and everything, I've taken notes and I've changed where I would normally go to, I guess, peruse, if that's the case. I'm there trying to handle some business primarily, but hey, if somebody catches my attention, then cool. My primary thing that I'm looking at is trying to handle any business that I can, because women out here dime a dozen. But I have changed some of my tactics. I was relaying on things that used to happen, but I still am not one of those guys that would go to a restaurant, whether I've talked to somebody on the phone for some time or any other way. That's not my personal preference. If I go I'm more so I'll go on a trip to a resort to somewhere else. That's what I would do.
Well, it's been my experience here that most fellas don't give any amount of time to these things. They don't give any amount of time to it. They go straight from acquaintance to dating. And I'm just like, yeah, they haven't spent any. You're supposed to take months for a female to get to that point. If you've given the female 6 months, there's no question in your mind what she's worth and what her value is. So you will never have to worry about spending too much or doing too much, because you've already definitively determined what her value is if you've given it the time. Now, if you've met her for the purposes of having sex with her, well, I mean, hopefully you haven't made a misjudgment on it, but then again, she goes ahead and lays down with you, I guess you didn't make one. But if you got if you're interested in meeting a woman and having more serious intentions, then by definition, you're going to invest time way before we ever discuss investing money. And you're not going to have a chick. Now, the gaslighting comes when she starts talking about you spending money to get to know her. Because if she were talking to Idris Elba, Denzel Washington, and Michael B. Jordan, they wouldn't have to spend a dime simply to talk to her and get to know her. So when a woman says that, recognize what she's really saying. Yeah, I don't think you got the value for me to invest in getting to know you. Let me pat them pockets down. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get a caller from area code 713. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, Jason. This is Tony in Houston.
Tony in Houston, what's on your mind?
Well, once again, I have to call in on these particular social subjects. I'm from Houston. I live here in Houston. If anybody's familiar with the Galleria, some of the most expensive, exclusive stores in the United States and the world is located there. There's also a cheesecake factory there.
Thank you. By the way, for the caller, let me interject real quick. Here, Tony. Thank you very much for making that point there, because also Lenox Mall is the same thing there, because you got the Nordstrom store there, which is supposed to be a flagship store. But same thing with Lenox Mall in Atlanta. And oh yeah, it's got a cheesecake factory there too. So very good point you make.
It is not cheap. Believe me, it's not cheap.
And it is not.
So
it is not.
No, it is not. So this cheesecake factory is just bullshit. Now, the second point I'm making is that, now black people, who unfortunately have some of the highest poverty rates in the nation, now black people are too good to eat at certain restaurants. You had your man call in talking about Ruth's Chris is not a real steakhouse. Excuse me, has he ever been to a Texas ranch and seen the cattle that they butcher and how they cut it? I've eaten at Ruth's Chris. Their steaks are delicious. But of course, he's got an opinion. Black folks been raised on pinto beans and neck bones and jiffy cornbread. Now they too good to eat at certain restaurants. Well, you know what? The time is coming where you'll be lucky if you know what the smell of a hamburger is, sweetheart. And lastly, I agree with you. When you meet a woman, you're mostly interested in how much time you're going to spend with her, not money. And the way women are today, they only want your money. If you take a woman out to a restaurant and spend any amount of money, first thing you got to do is ask yourself, why am I taking her out? She's either a certain age, she's not married, or she divorced, or she never been married. She had not been in a relationship in 50 years. She might even have a couple of bastard kids. What use is she to you?
You know, here's the real thing about it, Tony.
She living in an apartment. She's driving around an Altima. What use is she to you?
She's driving around her Altima, or she's driving around the Chevy Cavalier. Here's the thing, though, Tony. I'm glad you touched on that, because here's the dynamic we're in today. This is a bad result of something that is otherwise a positive new development. We've actually got the smartest, savviest, most informed and cultured group of young Americans we've ever had. They've got more upward mobility, more access to more things than any generation before them. And now we got something new. In the internet era, as you know, you're familiar with the studies that said that what's the number one career choice of high schoolers today is YouTuber, which is not a career choice, but they're on YouTube, they see YouTubers, they see Instagram, and they see a bunch of teenagers who before now you had to get into Hollywood if you wanted to be a celebrity as a teenager. Now, if you got the right video content, you can make yourself into one. And they're pursuing that. So do you realize how revolutionary that is for a young group of people as a generation to be plugged into that kind of psychology? Well, the other side of that is that they're also testing the ceiling. I've taught you about salesmanship. Everybody knows when you're making a sale negotiation between a seller and a buyer, one person's got a floor, another person's got a ceiling. So if you're the buyer, you're trying to find out where the seller's floor is. And if you're the seller, you want to find out where the buyer's ceiling is. Well, these lists like this show you that this younger generation today, this internet generation today, this social media generation today, mentally and emotionally, they're letting you know that they know this is not realistic. They know that it's not literal. But what they're expressing to you is they're hustling all the time mentally, and they want to know where the ceiling is. So by telling you that they won't accept something that you and I both know they absolutely will accept, they're feeling you out to find out where your ceiling is. Just to make sure, right. Exactly. Is Cheesecake Factory really the best you can do? Well, if I tell you no, then let me see what your answer is. Now, the worst case scenario is you just drop me off and don't call me back. But then again, that's usually why females got a second guy to talk to. And she's like, ooh, better not say that again. Best case scenario is she finds out that she just found out how thirsty you were and coerced you and pressured you into doing better. So I think that's the psychology at play today.
I agree 100%. I know that, unfortunately, we have all these son husbands, mama's boys, simps, thirsty guys who think if they spend a certain amount of money, they're going to get a little look at it and all that kind of thing. But it gets you nothing. But the thing I'm talking about is that black women who think that they are too good to go to a certain type of restaurant, you too good for it? I tell you what. If I was that guy in that original Cheesecake Factory video and he was an Indian, see, that's a whole nother issue. I would have took her and dropped her off at the bus stop, and I would have enjoyed the rest of my day. Women today think they are the shit, and these guys who let them get away with it, man, y'all making a big mistake. Big mistake. Thanks very much, Jason.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Tony here. I mean, a fool and his money never should have been together in the first place. Never should have been together in the first place. But yeah, that's what I think is the real psychology behind this. That's what I think is really going on. The females today, everywhere you go, they want to know where a fella's ceiling is. They're feeling you out and testing you. They're crap testing you to find out where your ceiling is. That if she tells you there's a certain place she doesn't want to go, she's testing to see what you're gonna do. And that's the culture today. The culture today is not believing guys when they tell you things. The culture today is, let me check this out. Let me feel this out. Let me see for sure if that's really where you are. Let me test you. This is where we at today. This is where we are. Caller from area code 773. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Brent from Chicago.
All right, Brian from Chicago. What's on your mind?
Man, nothing, Jason. I just tuned in a lot, man. I was just calling. I'm a fan, man. But I did want to speak on that. That cheesecake shit, because that lady was just ridiculous, honestly.
Okay, well, I definitely agree with that. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Please be listening on the phone. Do not be listening behind you. Caller from area code 973. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Mark from Newark.
All right, Mark from Newark. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I usually sit back and listen and just get gamed up, but I figured I'd call in today because this actually relates to something I'm going through right now, or I'm dealing with. But yeah, this whole thing, the way, chicks are acting nowadays, it's just a bluff, it's a bluff, and I always call it. I see it coming from a mile away. They all these women out here got the same game plan. I'm sure most men that have dated at least a handful of women today, pretty much come across this, So anyways, I'm dating this 23-year-old chick, and, right through the door, right through the gate, she tries to strong arm me, or should I say strong voice me into giving her something for nothing. And I simply refuse it, right at the door. So one day she just comes here and she's literally yelling, you don't want to take me out. You don't want to go anywhere. And I'm like, why? You haven't earned for me to take you out or anything like that. I really don't see what's the issue. We're talking, getting to know each other. She goes, well, the other guys don't treat me like that.
Remember what I taught you all now. Over on Patreon, although I have covered this here on YouTube, but over on Patreon, I've taught you guys this. That unspoken female assumptions. The unspoken female assumptions. The first unspoken female assumption is that her life is going to improve simply because you are in it. That she doesn't have to do anything and her life's going to get better because you're in it. Unspoken female assumption number 2, that the next man she gets with is going to pick up where the last one left off at. That when she meets you, she gets to stick you with the bill. Wherever she was, or, now here's the diabolical part, ladies, you got to hold this L. Wherever she was or wherever she expected and hoped to be, she's now going to stick you with the bill. Now, this female you were talking to here, was she in her 30s?
No, not even, Jason. So she's actually 23. She just turned 23.
How many kids she got?
None.
Okay, she must have been raised around a bunch of hoes, because with that kind of thing there happening, that type of going on there, that's usually when they're watching a bunch of females and then they sit around and basically squawk at each other and henpeck with each other and make it a game, see how much you can get out these dudes. So you young fellas here, you get objectified very quickly. They're just trying to see how much they can get before they move on to the next one. And by the way, you'll be in rotation. You're not the only guy she's talking to. This is the environment you're in.
1,000%. I already knew that was the case for her and stuff like that. First time I actually talked to her, it actually didn't end up working out because I'm just very direct. I don't really care. I could take it or leave it. That's always my approach. But we actually ended up we matched. We met on dating sites, of course. We matched and unmatched. and then later ended up matching again. I'm like, oh, you're back again. She's like, yeah, I figured I'd give you a chance, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we started talking again. I already knew she's talking to other guys, not surprised, and I'm completely fine. I got a lot going on right now and things of that sort. So I actually don't mind that. That takes her out of my hair. She can go do whatever she's doing over there. And I'll see you when I see you, basically, is how I treat her. But as you were mentioning earlier about the other guys, so I was like, I'm bold. I'm direct with females. So I asked her, I'm like, when she mentioned the other guys treating her a certain type of way. So I said, okay, so where are those guys now? Like, why are you here? If you get such good treatment from those guys, why are you here? Because I'm not giving you that treatment. She says, well, she doesn't respect those guys. Excuse me. She says she doesn't respect those guys, and I'm like, why is that? They give you everything you want, right? She's like, she just doesn't feel it. And she just wants me to do those things, and she's okay with being here. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that until your attitude changes or you start acting better. And, she's just like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I already come here. I already show up. I'm like, that's not doing anything. You showing up is not doing anything. And she's like, well, I drive all the way over here and stuff like that. I pay toll to get here. And I'm just like, what does that mean? I'm like, you don't even have to come if you don't want to. I didn't force you to pay toll or to be here or anything like that. She's like, yeah, you won't take me out. So anyway, fast forward, because I know she's doing her thing. I'm doing my thing. I'm still.
Missed opportunity
One
there.
more time?
Missed opportunity there.
Oh, yeah.
When she said, I'm not talking about her, I'm talking about you. When she said, I want you all to understand something here. Females are probing y'all. Look, I meant when I said you're dealing with the smartest, savviest, look it up, calculating generation of females ever. When I say patting your pockets down, I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about psychologically and mentally also. When she said, I paid tolls to get over here. And your response was, well, I didn't tell you to pay no tolls. Missed opportunity. Here's the correct way to respond to that, young man. When the female tells you about the expense that she had to come see you or whatever, your response shouldn't be, well, I didn't tell you to do that. Your response should be, am I worth it?
That's cold.
And then you be quiet.
That's
Don't
cold.
say a word beyond that. When I paid tolls to get over here. Am I not worth it? And then you shut up and you wait for her to give you. And she starts babbling this, and that's not a yes or a no. So let me try this one more time. And are you saying I'm not worth it? So, and what I'm saying is you're putting that issue to bed definitively, but you're also defining your value. And you're not making it a debate or an argument. And furthermore, Jason Black's 3 rules of salesmanship. Y'all are supposed to be paying me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for this. What? And yet I'm throwing it. The game's supposed to be sold and not told, and I'm handing it out for free, and niggas ain't gonna do nothing with it. But first rule of salesmanship, convince the customer that the decision to buy was theirs and not yours. You're not arguing about it. If she's the one who declares, yes, you're worth it, case closed. And your value, because my YouTube page is not about dating, folks. This is the definitive home of power dynamics. Your value just got definitively established, not by you, but by her. From this day forward, you ain't got to argue it no more. You ain't got to sell this thing. This thing sells itself. She's admitted, yeah, you are worth it. All right, well, enough of that. So we'll never have to discuss a financial component again since we got that settled.
I ain't gonna lie, Jason. That was clean right there. I got to put that in my back pocket. But basically, she found out recently that I was dating, other chicks and stuff like that. She's always threatening to date other guys or leave and stuff. And I always tell her, go ahead. Like, I don't, it doesn't really matter to me and stuff. But she found out I was going on a date with this other chick. And, she pretty much asked me, she was direct. She said, why are you taking her out and you don't want to take me out? And I just kept it simple. I said, because she's soft, she's feminine, she doesn't do too much. Like, I actually enjoy talking to her. She's piqued my interest. I actually want to meet up with her and go on a date. And I think she deserves at least that. And instead of learning from that and maybe taking in what I'm saying, she starts to argue again, threatens me, says she's going to leave and she's going to go date other guys and stuff. I'm like, but you're already doing that. You already tried that. Did that work? You came right back, and then even to the point where she kept trying to press me to do stuff for her. Since I refused, she goes, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just not date you. And I was like, that's fine. She's like, but you know what? I'll, cause I vibe with you so well, I'm still going to come around and we can lay up and stuff like that. And of course I didn't disagree. I'm not going to disagree to that because that works perfect for me. I mean, I find her annoying sometimes, but she's exciting here and there. Not going to lie. Crazy chicks are fun.
Don't
But
give her access and don't give her leverage. I wouldn't be taking her where I live. That wouldn't be happening. Sounds like you already have, though. But I would not give her access, and I would not. That's not great. I would not, especially if she's talking about why you giving other females preferential treatment, because pretty soon you don't realize how many times she's been through the ringer, and if she's sick and tired of going through the ringer and realizes, hell, nobody's going to give it to her, next thing you know, she's ready to take herself out and you. So there's where the real drama comes in. But also, you don't give her leverage. What is leverage? Marriage or a baby? Here's the problem. How old are you?
30.
Okay. So you're 32 and this chick is 22, 23?
No, I'm 30 and she's 23.
Okay, you're 30 and she's 23. So, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, what did he think he was going to get? So, like I say, definitely make sure she doesn't get any leverage. Here's the real issue. You fellas will lay up with a crazy chick so long, the next thing you know, you start telling yourselves, well, I could keep this one. And that's what usually keeps happening is they just hang on you. So they circle around, they do crazy things, but they kind of just hop on your back like a praying mantis and just hang on you until eventually it wears you down. So you should be careful in that regard, young man. Do you have any children?
Oh, yeah, no. I don't have any children. And this is just for fun. This is not, anything serious. This is just something that I see from someone that I see from time to time, whenever I feel like it.
Brother, here's the problem. I'm not disagreeing with your stated intent. I'm not disagreeing with that. Here's the issue. If a chick is for fun and she has expressed that she wants more than that, if she wants more than you giving, brother, I need the young man today. Boy, I'm just dropping the whole black book. Forget the red pill. I got the black book. I'm dropping the whole black book tonight. Fellas, a woman, unspoken female assumption. You owe me simply because I'm opening my legs to you. Unspoken female assumption. The fact that I'm opening my legs to you means you owe me. I need to get a return on this investment. So when a man says he's playing the long game, that means something different than a female playing the long game. Women tell themselves that simply by virtue of the fact she throwing them thighs open, you owe her. And she's going to come back and hit you with the, I gave you these months and these years and all this. Dude, that's what she's going to come back and hit you with. This is the way that women think. This is the way they operate instinctually. This is how they operate. So you just talking about, I'm having fun. You've already said several things to me that indicate that this ain't no game to her. She's looking to get chosen. She's looking to get taken off the market. And you're an older guy talking about, I'm having fun. When she finally realizes that you're not playing, you're serious. When you say you're having fun, you ain't having fun, you're serious. He means this when he says this. When she realizes that no amount of sex, no amount of pressure, no amount of nagging, none of that's going to work, then she's going to go left. Then she's going to start talking about, you've been wasting my time. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, she doesn't do that for you, although it's the worst case scenario for the rest of us because you'll sit up here and lay up with this heifer till she's 28. She'll give you 5 years waiting around to see if you're ever going to switch gears, which you won't do. And when she goes to the next fella, she's going to be a mercenary. This is how we end up with so many females. They get with these dudes, and by the time 5 years after she's been with you, she's going to be vicious with it. She's going to be cannibal with it. She's going to be savage with it. Coming out the gate, the next guy, she's going to be just hitting him up straight out the gate with it. and she's going to go try to find an easy target. So if you want to know how it is we end up with so many females like that, just remember, she's already stated to you that she wants more than you're giving, and you're talking about it's a game. She's going to figure that out, and one of these days you might get upset and tell her, girl, look here, it's not that serious for me. It's just, you're a hassle, and I was just enjoying myself. You can get back to the streets you go. How do you think she's going to take that?
I mean, I don't know, but all I know is I'm definitely not planning on keeping her long term.
But dude, she knows where you sleep. But my nigga, she knows where you sleep. Where's your leverage to prevent the drama from coming to your front door? She knows where you sleep.
I mean, that's true. But again, it's not somebody that I see regularly, and I don't.
Dude, she only got to see you. She only has to see you once to slash your tires, brother. She only got to see you once to come do that.
I mean, listen, I've been there. That's true. You know what I'm saying?
No, he's trying to explain his way around this. I'm like, brother, the trump card is, by the way, she knows where you live. Oh, well, when I get done with it, okay, you might be done with her, but she ain't done with you. She might not be done with you just yet. So all I'm saying here is, like I say, I understand the psychology behind it. You can tell she's raggedy. I think everything else here otherwise could have worked right up until you said, by the way, Jason, she knows where I live. By the way, she's been to my place. She knows where I live. So in other words, she will never have a problem. She's like a debt collector. She'll never have a problem finding you. You're not just a name on a website somewhere. She's connected you to the real world. Now she's got you connected in a real place, a tangible place in the real world. If she doesn't like the situation, now she knows how to come find you and press the issue. Okay. Or worst case, this has happened to all of us, by the way. The chick sit up here and say she's not concerned about something. You already been through that. You get another little chick over there. Next thing you know, there's 2 cars in your driveway. She's like, I'll be damned, this nigga really did it. And in your mind, you're 30, she's 23. What's the big deal? She's like, this is an older dude. She thought she was going to get older dude benefits, and she's not. So there's the real issue right there, dude. You're 30, she's 23. She's expecting to get some serious benefits here. She's thinking she's leveling up, and that's not happening. Now, when she realizes that you are deadly serious, you are really not going to drop no benefits. Oh, she come over there and there's another chick's car in your driveway. It's like, oh, this is all real. The long game just failed. All that time investment and investing your panties and everything else, it just went snake eyes. Now, what's she gonna do? Just get up and walk away? You've already conceded. Jason, the heifer crazy. Okay. All right, where you think that's going? So, brother, I wish you well, but you might want to keep Morgan & Morgan on speed dial just in case things go left. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight here.
Boy, what in the hell's the matter with you?
Well, Jason, I mean, I know she's crazy and everything, but, and she know where I live at. But if I just break things off and just let her know, hey, I'm gone, that's it, man. I just be through it, Jason. I just be through it. Man, look here. Is he listening to a word I'm saying? Dude, she knows where you live at. On Blog Talk, it looks like there's somebody who may be calling from outside the United States, or you're calling from a private number, so your number is not showing up. So if that is you, you need to let my mods know in the chat room that you're trying to call in. So if you're calling in from outside of North America, or if you're calling from a blocked number, that won't work on here. I won't take the call. So you need to let my mods know you're on the line, and then we'll take your call. But right now, there's a person who's on here, and your number's not showing, so I won't take it until we get you identified one way or the other. So if you're on the line, let my mods know in the chat room that you want to speak, and then I'll take your call. Otherwise, we can't do that. Caller from area code 510, you're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good evening, Mr. Jason Black. This is Black Voltron calling out of East Oakland, California.
Black Voltron on the flex. What's on your mind, brother?
Well, I wasn't planning on calling tonight, just listening, but, after I heard that particular call from that young brother about Mexican food trucks in Oakland, I had to do some town clarification real quick. Sorry, but the food trucks out here, you got a lot of them that are awful, a lot of them that are mediocre, and you got some of them that are, really good, and very few that are, just excellent. But going to a Mexican food truck is in no way, any type of proper dietary eating. Comparison to, it's going to be the same or worse going to a chain restaurant, because I've gotten sick on many of these Mexican food trucks, and I had to stop for years, stop eating there. But there, we out here in the Bay, we have such a really diverse region of food, good food, high quality food, and there's plenty of restaurants. You can take a chicken. This is going into the Cheesecake Factory thing. Just like you said, other affluent areas have had cheesecake factories. We have them here in San Francisco, Corte Madera, down in Saratoga, and Walnut Creek, and other places. There's nothing really wrong with Cheesecake Factory, but the way I look at it is, I treat it like the March Madness. Survive in advance as far as dating. Yeah, we're gonna go on a coffee date. If you don't like it, bye. Okay.
Well, if she has a problem with that
type of attitude,
if she has a problem with that, she's expressing from the beginning that she's not there for you. First and foremost, a female is supposed to be valuing the interaction for you. So all she's establishing is she ain't really into you. Well, she has every right to do that, but you're a fool if you disregard that. So once she makes it clear, I'm not really here for you, I need you and something else to leverage it out, at that point, you need to keep that in mind. Now, there's some fellas out there, they can't do any better. Let's be very, very clear. Voltron, you know it. There's some dudes out there, he can't do no better. He can't bring his personality because he doesn't have one. He can't bring his alpha status. He doesn't have any. So he's got to bring himself and some money, himself and some benefits, himself and some tricking. And that's just where he is in life. Okay, fine. But if that's not where you are, you don't want to maneuver yourself in that position.
But at the same time, then that should be a signal to that man. Okay, maybe I need to work on myself, because if all you're able to pull are these manipulative, begging ass, bottom tier chicks, you need to upgrade yourself first in order to get better upgrade and quality women. And that should be the impetus to work on, to better yourself.
Take a whole lot to do that.
There and just be able to take.
Brother, you're right. You're right. But what I was just saying, brother, look, if you're lazy, if you are intellectually or emotionally lazy or fragile, you going for the low-hanging fruit. So the first thing to holler back, you're going, it's like, hey, I'm taking the path of least resistance. Voltron, understand something. I want all the fellas listening right here to understand something. What makes a simp? A simp is afraid, deathly afraid of discomfort. He doesn't have any threshold of tolerance for discomfort whatsoever. Okay. He is sensitive as hell. So even the prospect of getting rejected shatters his soul. That's why you see some of them go postal and picking up guns. Even the prospect of getting rejected shatters his soul. So simps are fragile. They would much rather have a 4 who answers the phone, even if she's surly, than to improve himself and have an 8 who would answer the phone with some sense. He'll take that. One of them requires a lot more, quote, more of him than the other does. All that work you're talking about doing, it's not just that that's painful too, because it is, but also achieving that other stuff you're talking about, that takes a lot of risk. And simps are beaten down and defeated. They are risk averse. This is why they focus on their careers. That's safe. This is why they focus on manga and anime. That's safe. This is why they focus on those things that makes them very easy to manipulate, and females love that when they're looking for a sucker. So just understand what you're saying would work if you were dealing with a guy who could take it. But you're talking about a class of fellow who can't stand what you're talking about. He can't withstand it. So he's like, man, damn this, bring me the low-hanging fruit.
But Jason, it's that pain itself, that discomfort and that pain is what helps build a simp into a man. We've all been through it. You need that rejection. You need that pain. You need to get that pain, that growth and recovery, and that callus over in order to get yourself stronger. It's no different than training, lifting weights, doing calisthenics, and doing running. You know, the more you put in, the more you get out of it. You know, the farther you push yourself, the better you'll be. That's how it works, whether it's physically, emotionally, psychologically, financially, or anything else.
Well,
what you get in is what you get out.
There's another side to that, though, Voltron, because think about this way. What are the females telling these guys? 720 degrees of the analysis you'll receive absolutely nowhere else. The females out here, especially as they get older, they get in their late 30s or 40s, and their options have dwindled. Now the guys, they know he's weak, they know he's a lame, but when she was dealing with alphas, they wouldn't take that mess off of her. So she's telling the simp that he's a real man. Why he pays her bills and takes care of her kids, and why you're not like those alphas, why Jason Black's an ass. And she's sitting there telling him that. So think about that for a few moments. She's telling him that he's the man because he doesn't act like us.
You know what? You're absolutely right. And unfortunately, because those simps aren't willing to grow, and those females aren't willing to upgrade themselves to get a better man, they're going to be stuck where they're at. But I'll tell you what, as far as that cheesecake chick, I'll be damned if, you expecting to go to Ruth's Chris, Morton Steakhouse, the Capitol Grill, or God forbid, French Laundry out here, in the Bay, in Napa. I mean, no. You out your goddamn mind if I'm going to take you to a 3-star Michelin restaurant on your first date. Who the hell said you're worth my time, my effort, and my money? No. There's levels to this. And you got to work your way up. You got to graduate to that. So yeah, let's start and get some coffee, get some ice cream, or meet in the park, whatever. And then as we get to know each other, and I see that you're worth my time, worth my effort, you ain't got no funky ass attitude. We'll work our way up, going to maybe Applebee's, the Cheesecake Factory, maybe JB's or P.F. Chang's or something like that, and then work our way up. I mean, there's plenty of barbecue spots out here in the Bay we can go to, like Everett and Jones or Smoking Woods or something like that. But these chicks think they're too good to go to a chain restaurant or lower tier restaurant. There's going to be plenty of missed meal cramps coming. And there's going to be some hungry hippo females out there that the stomach's going to be going grr, grr, grr. And, I'm all for it because they deserve it. Maybe you need to check yourselves first, humble yourselves. And maybe you eventually, after you better yourself, you'll find the man that you want. I'm not going to take too much of your time. I just wanted to clarify that statement and be one to the fullest. Thank you for taking my call, Jason.
Thank you very much for giving this call tonight, Black Voltron. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and jump over here on Zoom. I got Kevin Murray. Must be related to Keith. All right, brother, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, Jason? So there's a lot of hypocrisy that's going on with this Cheesecake Factory and dating this thing that's going on. So when this thing first popped off, I looked up Cheesecake Factory and I found out that, first of all, it's a publicly traded company. And so anyone who wants to can buy stock in the Cheesecake Factory. At the time, the value per share was $28.99. And when I last checked, it was near 30, almost $31. So the value for Cheesecake Factory has gone up since this video went viral. And another thing I found out that the net worth, Cheesecake Factory's net worth is $1.49 billion, which I thought was pretty amazing for Cheesecake Factory. But yeah, $1.490 billion. And you have women who think that they're too good to go to a place like that. And so here's the hypocrisy. These same women will shop at Walmart, Target, Aldi's, Kroger's, Red Lions, and any other chain grocery store. But going to a chain restaurant is beneath them.
It's game. It's game. Let me go ahead and move the phone out the way a little bit so folks can take a look at that and see what their stock has done here lately. I'll let them make up their minds about that, but definitely it's game. Like I say, it's psychological, and it's for the purposes of getting a response. We're living in a hustle culture today, man. They're kind of shameless about it. This is where we're at today. Folks can't just have conversations or can't just talk about things. It's about hustling you now. Now it's just about hustling you. I mean, if people think that city girl stuff is harmless, you take a look at this and see if that's harmless. Your daughters have been hearing these chicks talk about that, and it's all about, look here, sleep with these fellas up here and whatnot, and do whatever, however, and it's legit. Now you got this. Now they're up here wanting to fantasize that I can get the whole life that goes with it, and all they're going to really do is rack up a bunch of body counts. Because here's the real issue. They're going to try to demand now on some fantasy. They're going to try to demand more than Cheesecake Factory, and we know what's really going to happen. They're going to be laying up with some dude for Taco Bell. That's what's actually going. When she realizes nobody is offering Cheesecake Factory, at that point the market will have spoken, and she's going to have to just get what she really qualifies for. That's what's actually going to happen. Can I get what I really qualify for? Because she's going to get tired. The bottom line is, for the female palate, a meal that somebody else bought tastes better than one she bought herself. And that's eventually going to win out.
And you know what? That goes back to a video you did a while ago. That what a woman requires from a man is higher than what she requires for herself. I want to paraphrase something you said, that a woman can buy herself a Nissan Altima and be satisfied. But from a man, she's going to want an Audi or a Bentley or whatever luxury car. I couldn't quote you. I couldn't quote you word for word, but the paraphrase. That's what it was a video. The video you did a few months ago, maybe a year.
Absolutely. I mean, when she needs to buy a car for herself, it'll be a Honda, it'll be an Altima, it'll be a Hyundai. When she got to buy it for herself, when she has to buy a luxury car for herself, it'll be a Mercedes CLA, a Mercedes CLS. And if she really out there, she might go get the base model E-Class. Now, if you say you're going to buy her a car and you come around the corner with a CLA, she's going to be sitting here looking at the key fob like you're holding up a dead rat. She's going to be like, what the hell you doing bringing this to me? I could have slept with your cousin and I could get my own CLA. I don't need you for that. So that, understand, as the man, when you come around the corner, is it what was okay for her? Oh, that doesn't qualify for you. No. You got to do better than that. And not just a little bit better. You got to do substantially better. Well, Jason, how much substantially better? This is why I tell fellas, you cannot let a female know how much you make. You can't let, all you need to know is let her know whatever I want, you get paid for. She doesn't need to know that, because once she knows what that number is, she starts calculating how much of that should be disposable. Not how much is. She starts calculating what, by her standards, how much of that should be disposable. Then she doesn't sit up here and say that she should expect less. She tells you that you should start saving more. That all the stuff you spending your money on, you need to cut back on that so that you would have enough to properly reward her for being your female. That's what she's going to tell you. Yeah, you sitting there looking like that because you've heard that. It's like, whoa, now I realize where I went wrong. She looked at that W-2 and it's, I couldn't get no peace after that. Yeah, there you go. Once a female knows what that number is, she starts adding up and calculating and saying, now, here's how, you know what? I know what your rent is and you are overspending. So let me get this straight now. The people who are in most consumer debt all of a sudden become damn me H&R Block about going over numbers and getting folk to save things and be thrifty. But when it's her money, she spends out this world. When it's your money, oh, you could be saving some more money over here. There you go. I'll let you have the last word.
All right, thanks. Yeah, so there's a lot of hypocrisy, and a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. So I'm glad that we're having this conversation. I'm glad that this happened, and hopefully we can take this information and just do better with it.
That's the idea. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. We appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let me go ahead and get back over here to the telephone lines. Let me get a caller from area code 646. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason. It's Tony from New York.
All right, Tony, which borough in New York?
Mott Haven, South Bronx.
All right, in the Bronx. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I love the content. You're always your broadcasts are amazing. Big fan. Subscribe to your Patreon. I occasionally give you a tip on CashApp as well. Well deserved.
We appreciate that.
So I find that, yeah, absolutely. So I recently, first, let me say that I actually love that list with the Cheesecake Factory because it's really honest. I feel like I really appreciate the candor of women when they're honest about their intentions. I went on a dinner date with some friends a couple of months ago, and two of the women were discussing what some of her friends tend to do here in New York before going out with men. And what they do is they look them up on LinkedIn. And in New York, it's become law that you have to disclose salaries of jobs. So they're able to see how much prospects are actually making. Right, that they're actually, it's that sophisticated for some women in terms of the men they target. They actually go on LinkedIn, look on the career site for a certain company, and really and strictly date men above a certain income level. When I heard that, I immediately changed my LinkedIn to get rid of my job title at my company because it's absolutely insane. It's the dating market for someone like me. I'm 40 years old, no children, make over $150,000, and I find the dating prospects out here not the best in terms of the type of women I want to date. I'm a black guy. I want to date a black woman, no children, good educational background, low body count, and all that stuff. But I just think it's absolutely insane in terms of what women are doing right now, and there's ultimately the expectations of what they think they're entitled to. So that's really my comment. And
I mean, the entitlement's the real thing, though, brother, because think about this for a few moments. Even with you living in the Bronx, I mean, you're at this point now, you're only in one of the most expensive cities in America, although Manhattan is really just trying to get its weight up there.
I lived in Manhattan a long time.
So,
Mott Haven sneakily really nice.
Well, I mean, in that situation there, you have to keep in mind, when we discuss, quote unquote, the good life, you're in New York where you literally, the rest of us have it easier than you all in many regards because we don't have a place that is literally called Billionaires Row. And by the way, think about the psychology of that name for a moment. This isn't just the billionaire over there. This is Billionaires Row. You mean like there's a row of them niggas? Yes. A Billionaires Row. And she lives in the same city, even though New York is one big sprawling catastrophe of islands. But the point is, if you're talking to a female who lives there, unspoken female assumption, she is expecting at some point, she has the expectation that she's going to get to go see what that's like. She has that expectation that at some point she's going to be there. And her unspoken expectation is that you are going to deliver that, because you and I as males, we have the idea in our head that we got to work to get there. As females, they have the expectation that there's going to be a man who's going to put them there. That's the expectation, because it has no value if she has to work for it herself. It has no value if she has to get there herself, because she's got no one to share it with and no one to validate it. So yeah, when she gets with you, the pressure is on, and it's going to be continuous. That at some point she's going to have to maneuver you to get her there, because that's where she really wants to be. Don't give a damn what it costs you, how much it bothers you, how much it oppresses you, how much it burdens you. That's not a factor. Get your ass up, and when you're going to get me over there. So in a place like New York City, where there are just so many of those types of options, case in point, pretty much everything being built in New York today is high-rise housing. I mean, housing. That's what New York is doing all over the place. Now, in Central Park, you got those skinny scrapers. So you used to be able to get a view of Central Park from the buildings. Now you can't get that anymore. There's just going to be a big ass wall of skyscrapers that are going to surround Central Park before it's over. And it's filled with a bunch of people there. Now, it's the only place where you get a view of anything that looks green. It's not like New York is oceanfront. Although even when you come to the rivers, take a look at Hudson Yards. I can go down the list. Hudson Yards. Hell, you thought you were safe? Jump across the bay to New Jersey. Are you kidding me? Jersey City. Have you seen the prices over there? So you got a view of the river over there. Okay, well, you know what the prices are in Jersey City overlooking the river.
Oh yeah.
You know what the prices are over there in Jersey City. So I can keep going about this and understand this is the expectation. Okay, why am I going through that big long explanation? Remember what I told the man who called in here early night who said that a woman's father used to pay the dowry, used to pay for the wedding. Fellas, your daddy and your granddaddy wasn't expected to pay for $4,000 a month overlooking the Hudson. Your daddy and your granddaddy weren't expecting to pay $10,000 a month on Central Park or Park Row, or now the median in Manhattan, $5,000 a month. And we're not talking about that number blew up over the course of 50 years. That number has blown up over the course of 15. Over the course of a little more than a decade, that number has gone from 3 to 5. In just a decade. Now, your income has not done that, but the cost of being there has. Okay, now let's add this other thing here. Used to be okay to get an Altima or whatever. She want to have a Bentley now. Okay, well, do you understand? New York City now, they didn't even ask. Y'all didn't even get to vote on it. Folks, I remember I was following this when they were talking about it in London. That in London, they got traffic cameras to charge a toll during, quote, peak commuter hours. So now you pay a toll to get into Manhattan, and now there will be a toll in southern Manhattan going down to the financial district. So if you are driving on the main thoroughfares, you're going to be charged a toll. Jason, how much is the toll? It couldn't be that much. $23. $23. Yes, it'll cost more to drive around southern Manhattan than it costs to drive into Manhattan. Think about that for a few moments. You drive into Manhattan, that's $20 now. I should know. And then it's $23 because they've set up toll cameras around southern Manhattan now. Not to get into the city. This is after you get in. After you're in. This isn't something that they're working on. The cameras are installed and in place and working now. You can't get damn me Cablevision to get the internet working right in New York, but there's traffic cameras to toll your car. Now, think about, and remember, they're going to have like video. You know how that's going to work. They're going to be able to show video of you going through it or whatever, or pictures of you. So let me get this straight. That's going to work flawlessly. Your home internet, you call Cablevision, you're going to need 3 mobsters, take somebody hostage and a priest to get your internet service working properly. But the toll cameras they're installing, oh, I assure you, those will be working flawlessly. And she still expects you, with all that going on, that you are still going to elevate her lifestyle in the most expensive city in America. These are standards that your father and much less your grandfather never imagined. Never imagined. And here you are.
And I just want to say one last thing before I drop. And again, thanks so much for your your views. I just want to say, like, the women are so locked in on trying to find that man. Is like, oh, listen, I do well financially. You know, I'm a decent looking man, not married, no kids, like I said. And I've had women curve me because I use an Android phone, because that is perceived to be used by lower income men. And I'll leave it at that. The whole thing, it's just fascinating to me, everything that's going on. But you know, I'm not deterred. You know, I'm confident I'll find the right woman. And for me, I feel like I still have plenty of options. I can date women a lot younger, and hopefully the next crop of women coming up aren't as ridiculous. And I think programs like this will really help, you know, the attitudes and just so women are more realistic in terms of what's out there and what they can achieve.
Don't get me
and
wrong.
Expectations from a partner.
We're, like I say, just chicks from New York. I've dealt with them for a while, and I have a special respect for them. They tend to be quick. They tend to be savvy. You know, they tend to be hustlers and progressive, and that's the kind of thing that resonates with me. I move quickly, and being from the southern United States, things tend to move slowly down here. So New York females are a whole vibe, and I like that. But New York females are also pushy. They are also demanding. They are entitled as hell. There's the downside for New York females. So they have an upside, but then they have a downside to them. And they'll run you through the ringer, brother. They'll run you through the ringer. But you already know that. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Let me get, and by the way, whoever is still on the line, whose number is not showing, you need to let the mods know you're on the line. Otherwise, I won't take your call. About this Android thing there, that's another thing. New York chicks are, all I can say is, if you want to reveal how ignorant you are about cars, just say that Japanese cars are better than domestic. Just say that. If you want to reveal to the world just how ignorant about cars you are, and if you want to reveal to the world how ignorant about technology you are, just say that Apple phones are better than Android phones. Go to any repair shop and see what they say about Apple products. That's only spoken by a person who only uses their phone for texting and Facebook. There's literally no repair shop, no cellular phone repair shop in America who is going to tell you that Apple is better than Android. There's no business owner that's going to tell you that Apple is better than Android. Just some RN walking around Manhattan somewhere, hoping that some stockbroker is going to take her off the market. That's the only one who'll tell you that. But by the way, if you want to reveal how ignorant you are about products, just say Apple's better than Android. Just say that phrase, and what you've really done is expose, oh, you don't know anything about them. Okay. We can just keep the stuff short. Let me get caller from area code 276. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Imat. What's going on? Loving the show.
All right, Imat. It's a program. Thank you very much. And where are you calling from?
Virginia.
All right, Imat, from where out in Virginia?
Richmond.
All right, Imat from Richmond, Virginia. What's on your mind?
One of my lady friends actually brought something up to me in regards to that list, and I thought it was funny. The two things that she mentioned, I, kind of failed to realize was, like, on the kind of men that shouldn't date. The women, they failed to put felons and drug dealers on there. Just thought I'd bring that to your attention.
Very good point. They didn't mention anything about a criminal record. Very good point. Just whether or not you got kids with another chick or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, definitely it's a hood rat list. It's a hood rat list.
I mean, the same thing, like, if you vote or if you are, like, a productive citizen in society, I just find it ironic how, they want middle class, upper middle class results from, the pits of the community. And it's just baffling to me that how can you? It's like me saying that, you know, I want to have children, and this 50-year-old woman is going to be able to give me what I want. You know, it's like it just doesn't make sense. And you know,
well, I mean, that's the whole point.
Victim.
The whole point is that they're looking for someone who isn't going to insist on a fair deal and a sensible arrangement. That is what quote unquote dating in America has devolved into. Let me get over on you. That's what it's about now. Let me calculate. How can I scheme? How can I get over? How can I give you a raw deal? How can I go ahead and give you less, not little less, but because the game now is not to give you a little less. The game now is to give you nothing. You give her everything and she gives you absolutely nothing, not even sex.
And not only does she give you nothing, you're aware that you're getting nothing, and you're satisfied and you're happy about that. And it just, I don't see any other race dealing with that. But that's all I wanted to bring to your attention, man.
Well, thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Well, the white guys created the red pill because white women are putting them through the ringers. So you can go to any of their channels. They've been talking about this vociferously. Look it up. They've been talking about this vigorously for a long time here. So let me get caller from area code 347. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's going on, Brother Jason? This is Lex from Brooklyn.
Okay, if you're on speakerphone, you need to take your phone off the speaker, folks. You know, some of them are in their phones right now. They're, cooking mashed potatoes at 11 o'clock at night. But take the phone off. I know you've been waiting for a minute.
What's
but take
going
the phone
on,
off
Brother
speaker.
Jason? It's Lex from Brooklyn.
All right, Lex from Brooklyn. What's on your mind?
Everything is good, brother. I find it very interesting that you brought up this conversation this evening. So, being from Brooklyn, something that I found to be very, very common nowadays is like, if you're out in the scene, you go into events, especially like these posh events with a lot of like black social media influencers. A common thing that happens is if approaching sisters, trying to have some quick conversations, first thing that I start to hear nowadays is, "Oh, you gonna buy me a drink? Oh, can you buy me a drink?" So off the bat, they just let you know with that aggressive, nature, like, "Hey, don't even waste my time if you're not buying me drink or drinks." And if you do offer to buy them a drink, they'll say, "Oh, can you also buy a drink for my friend Lisa, or this is my friend's birthday and we all celebrating. Let's all get shots." So I find that very interesting. And another thing that I wanted to point out, like when I first started working in finance and stuff like that, I was dealing with a young woman. So years later, actually this happened past weekend, we ran into each other in passing, and she did some greasy shit in the past. But anyway, she came up to me and basically told me, "Yo, I fumbled a bag. I see you doing good now. I'm sorry," and just started crying and all this stuff. So I just want to get your viewpoint on that, especially when you mentioned, with New York women and as it reflects today's culture with getting over on everyone.
Okay, so which borough is she from?
Brooklyn.
Okay, well, that tells you one thing right there. Does she have any kids? I mean, the dynamic is different. It's different between chicks from Manhattan versus Brooklyn versus the Bronx versus Queens. Difference between those.
Yeah.
So it matters. Does she have any kids?
Nah. Okay. When I first met her, I was 23. She was 27. Okay. So that was another thing.
How old is she now?
Years later, she's probably like 34, 35. And
oh, okay. Yeah, she all the way over the damn hump. Yeah, she's all the way over there. So, like I said, yeah, she was older than you to begin with, so she should have understood that I wasn't bull jiving when I said, by the way, it's, that noise. It's, okay.
Yeah.
So now that the sound is getting louder, is getting deafening now. This also means that she probably was a little cute and had a little body on her. So they tend to screw around longer when they do that. But here's what actually happens, brother. They end up overestimating their options. That's what occurs. They end up telling themselves, I can do better than you. I can do better than being with you. And like I said, they play the field too long. And what ends up happening is her perceived value of herself, the men that she wants, none of them validate that. So when she tried to get them validated, it didn't work. Now she has to do what I told you all. They go back through their mental Rolodex. Because there are no new men coming into the arena. They go back to their mental Rolodex. If they can't find a luckless simp to go trap, then they got to go back to their mental Rolodex. Next thing you know, hey, boo, let me check and see what you doing. Oh, you ain't drowning in debt yet? And in your case, it'll just be a life preserver because you already know she don't fool with you for real. You already know she's just trying to get a sponsor. So she'll have a life. You'll be a life preserver till she get until or unless she can get something she really wants to go the distance with. But what she did was she found out that she went to the sexual marketplace and she overvalued herself. And she's trying to figure out how the hell could that happen, because she's thinking to herself, well, the thing here is, I got a body on me here. Fellas say I look cute and stuff like that. So how could I lose? And what she doesn't recognize is that a woman saying that she is 35 years old is like a man saying that he makes $60,000 a year. That's what a female doesn't tend to take into account. Once you say that you are 35 years old, that means something. It does not have the ring of hearing, oh, I'm 22 years old. I'm 25 years old. It doesn't have the same ring.
And this, I missed the earlier portion of this broadcast, but I also just wanted you to touch on that component of just, I guess, sisters today, like if you approaching them, something that I noticed when I'm out with my boys, if I'm just going to an event or something like that, just that aggressive nature of, oh, hey, what's up? You're just trying to, spit some game, talk to them, see what's up. And then the first thing that they start saying nowadays is, you buy me a drink. Oh, what, you buy me and my friends a drink? Like, just noticing that's the culture today. It's just crazy to me. I just wanted to get your take on it.
Well, look, the good news is they're being upfront about it. Some of them are. And that's better than it used to be. They used to just sit there and lie to you for a long time. So the good news is they're being upfront in many cases and just saying, okay, hey, let me see if I can get you to trick off. So they're letting you know what their agenda is. And I'm just like, well, thanks for saving us a whole bunch. Thanks for saving me the trouble of having to tell you to carry your ass. Thank you for saving me the time to go through that, because, that's not what it's going to be. But here's another thing I'll say to you fellas. I don't know what places you all hang out in where that would even occur, because for someone to say that means you're hanging out in a certain locale. So I need dudes to not complain about getting mud on them if they're in the pig pen. You got to start curating where you're at, because you go to those places, it's only going to be a certain type of female there. It's not going to be wife material. Hell, it's not girlfriend material. What I think, here's the reason why I tell fellas here that you need to have your value and productivity up. And the reason for that is because I want you to understand that that's what gives you your options. You don't, for example, if you are a man and you're not looking for a committed relationship, you're looking for sexual access, I'm like, okay, I'm not here to judge you about that. If that's what you're looking for, you need to understand that that has a requirement. You can call it a cost. You can call it whatever you want to. That has a requirement. So if you're a man who wants to have sexual options and variety, then you're going to need to have one of two things or both. You're going to need to either possess physical alpha cues that basically are their own monetary value. So in other words, if you just built like and look like Idris Elba and you present that way, you might not have Idris Elba money, but if you can present that way physically, that can open the door. And of course, if you can talk the talk, that can open the door. Or you're going to have the personality and productivity that opens the door, that allows you to negotiate those kind of options. So if you want to have a chick that the only thing you really got to do is come through and lay up, and she doesn't bother you about the other females you're talking to. So one you really serious about, and one is just she's here in a pinch, or she's here if it's convenient. If you want to have those kind of options, then you need to set up a situation where that becomes your life, as opposed to constantly being on the damn hunt. As opposed to that. As opposed to constantly being out here in the damn woods like Tarzan with your spear with the stone on the end of it. As opposed to doing that. That's the issue right there.
Yeah.
Because every time you have to do that, it's a new broad, it's a new security risk, it's a new bunch of issues to deal with. Get yourself to a point where eventually you don't have to deal with all that. You have it structured the way you want it to be, not the way you gotta take it. I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah. Nah, I find it, like I said, I'm definitely going to play back the broadcast. Amazing work you're doing. Thank you for taking the time in my call. All right, B1, brother. B1S.
B1, thank you very much. This is The Biz. B1S here because it is The Biz. Let me get caller from area code 940. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up? What's up, Jason, man? This is Tony Bender. I'm calling from Las Vegas, man.
All right, Tony in Vegas. What's on
I
your
really
mind?
enjoy your show. I really enjoy your show. I listen every week. I never miss an episode. Man, this situation with the Cheesecake Factory and where these women don't want to eat, I think this is about. I think that's a West Coast woman. I think that's a LA vegan type of woman. Because I didn't have a woman in every. I'm a truck driver for 20 years. I didn't had 10 women in every state. Women eat. Real black women love to eat, and I'm telling you, the women who eat the most are Dallas women. Texas women want barbecue. They like Cheesecake Factory. I want some ribs. I want some potato salad. I want some barbecue beans.
Hard eight, baby.
Louisiana women.
The hard eight, by the way. If
You
y'all
said
want,
what?
if y'all want Jason Black approved, the hard eight, by the way. For all my cats up there in Plano,
Hard eight.
all my cats up there in Plano,
The
hard
pecan
eight.
lounge.
90 seconds.
Yeah,
You know it.
them. They
You
want
know
some,
it.
They want some. Yeah, they want to eat, bro. Black women, and they be bad. They be baddies. They're not picky about food. I think that's somebody from the West Coast made that list. Because West Coast women are vegans. They eat grass. You know, they kind of picky and corny. You know, Texas women be bad and they want to eat some I'm talking about Louisiana women. They want to eat women. The Shreveport, the Bossier City, the that's city in the middle of 49, Alexandria or whatever. The women grub down there. That's what they known for. New Orleans is known for food. So who made this list? I'm thinking that somebody black didn't even make this list, man.
Well, I mean, no, it's just in the internet age, you got signifying trying to take the place of actual thought. So you got folks sitting up here trying to make a point to it. Here's my real thing. It's not the food component, because you and I both know the food component is not the issue. You've never had a problem with a chick accepting a date to the Cheesecake Factory. You've never had a problem with a chick accepting a date to Red Lobster. You've never had a problem with a chick accepting a date to any of those places. You've never had that issue. Bonefish, whatever. That ain't happening. So for this to happen now, just understand folks are just signifying. And my whole thing is about take a look at the attitude that this has brought out in certain women. Take a look at that. This was bait, not because they actually think they can get it. So I want the fellas to understand what you're hearing are political responses. Joy Behar and that nonsense she talking about there, that was a political response. She was saying that for the consumption of the low-level females who watch The View, not the females who actually have to live it. So that was a political statement for their consumption. She was politicking. So was Sunny. So was the other chick. You saw how they spun a 180. They politicking. I just want you to understand that that's what you're hearing when you saw the video, but more importantly, when you're seeing the responses to it. That's what you're seeing is politicking, not an actual point of conviction. Just folks throwing out their politics of what they wish the environment would do, not of what it actually is. Look, you got some folks who think that this is their opportunity to come up, that they can hide behind it. Well, hey, look here. Where's the ceiling? Yeah, you guys ain't trying hard enough. Brother, don't you understand? Women work us 24/7. In the modern era, women are working us 24/7. I mean, they're getting together. They're saying these things has nothing to do with reality. It's like, hey, let's just put the pressure on these guys. Don't you see how that hive mind got together just that quickly? Hey, let's apply the pressure. Let's see how much we can get.
I noticed that Papados wasn't on that list. Ain't no black woman gonna diss no Papados.
Oh, dude. Man, look here. If she does, you don't want her. If she got a problem with, nigga, if she got a problem with Papa Do's, you don't. Let me tell you, and just make it for everybody out there, because for those of you who don't know the game, if you go to Papa Do's in Texas. You want to go to Papa Do's in Texas, and you want to go to the one that's in that complex where they got Papa Do's, Papacitos, and I forget the other one. But there's the three of them. They're all
off the Northwest Highway.
They're all owned by
35 and Northwest Highway,
and they're all owned by the same company though. Papa Do's owns all three of them. So Jason Black just put y'all up on some heavy game, by the way. If you really want to treat...
It's a steakhouse. It's a Papa Do's steak. It's Papa Do's steakhouse right there. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah, because I know it's Papa Do's and there's Papacitos, and I was like, I'm like, is somebody doing some bootleg, like Coming to America, violating y'all's trademarks? They're like, no, we own all three of these. We own all of them. So it's just if you want something different from Papa Do's and Papacitos, you want Mexican, and then there's the other one. So, like, by the way, because I know they got Papa Do's like in Atlanta and some other places, but if y'all really want to know the spot over there in Texas, when you got all three of them in that complex, by the way, thank you. The game's supposed to be sold and not told. I got a bunch of fellas here going to come up. Well, by the way, did you know they own all three? Okay. I'll let you have the last word.
Man, this is just all some type of conspiracy, man, to hate on brothers. And, you know, it's just all it's just nonsense, man. Ain't no real black woman passing up no real good food, man. Hey, thank you, man. Hey, and also, man, before I leave, you got to come back with the more mafia words, the way you describe your situations. You use the mob, man. Bring that back, man. Hey, I love your show, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Jason, I watch your show all the time. I watch your show every week. Lie. Okay, it's not a show, it's a broadcast. Watch all of them. I've been watching for years. You've been watching for years? Absolutely. Lie. All right, let me go ahead and get over here on Zoom. Let me see here. All right, I got Kia over here on Zoom. She's ready to rumble tonight. She's got her ready to rumble outfit on. All right, Kia. What's on your mind, ma'am?
No, I just wanted to talk about two things. Yes, I agree with the previous caller who said that most women who like to eat, which is like myself, I love eating. I love going out to eat. I love food. I love the experience of it. We're not passing up good food. So that's number one. I agree. Number two, I wanted to know if anyone else mentioned like how women were sharing the list or the original video and saying that, oh, it's a skit. The young lady, I think, even came out and said it was a skit, and they were trying to use the fact that it was a skit to invalidate the fact that there were women, you know, writing think pieces defending her. And that's what I kept saying in a lot of my women's spaces. Like, it doesn't even matter if it was a skit. It doesn't even matter what her motive was. It was too many of y'all going like, yeah, I am too good. That's the problem. Like, I feel like a lot of times social media just amplifies what are already problems anyway, especially regarding like this whole gender role thing. You know, you have the femininity and the level up spaces telling women a wrong thing. And then you have the red pills telling, you know, men the wrong thing. But what I find to be weird is, I don't know. I feel like while there are like a lot of young men who are like sold out to the red pill space and they're kind of just lost, I think there are a lot of men who listen and can like gleam and hear certain things, but in real life they talk to women, they have wives, girlfriends, they have normal healthy relationships with women. And for women like myself, when I'm in certain spaces and I see women talking about men, and we can like laugh and joke and like give our opinion about the struggle of being with men, but like at the end of the day, I have a husband. Like I'm not doing this whole feminist thing. That's like entertainment for me. But it seems like in a lot of these femininity spaces, there's a lot of women who don't get the joke. Like they're taking it serious, and it's causing them to be alone. It's causing them to be like single and not.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is these things wouldn't take off and be that popular. They wouldn't take off and go viral like that if there wasn't fertile soil for it to be in. If there wasn't a widely receptive audience, it wouldn't go. Things don't go viral because there isn't a receptive audience. They go viral precisely because there is a receptive audience. So trying to dismiss it as entertainment or whatever, it's like, no, this is art imitating life is what it is. This is art imitating life, because while we're talking about, quote unquote, the Cheesecake Factory, please understand the circumstances I gave you here before are true. The number one cause of divorce is finances. The number one cause of divorce is a female being unhappy. The number one cause of divorce, or the number one cause of a man being rejected, either before or after he's gotten a relationship with a female, is financial. That she's got this requirement, spoken or unspoken, usually unspoken, and you did not meet that. So he's like, hey, I done got you this $1,500 a month apartment. She's like, nigga, I need to be in a $4,000 a month townhouse or a $4,000 a month loft. So yeah, the cheesecake, well, this is better than the $800 apartment that most of these chicks got to have. And she's like, no, this Cheesecake Factory, this is not, I can't, that's a false equivalent, but you get the idea. Oh, this is Olive Garden. I need to be a Ruth's Chris.
Yeah, but okay. And if you're a woman that can demand that, like your looks allow you to demand that, the type of woman that you are allows you to demand that, then I say, sure, fine. If you can attract the men who can afford to give you that, that's great. But what I find to be very damaging or problematic is there's a lot of women who are listening to femininity coaches and level up coaches, and these women don't have the looks to demand it. They don't have the personality or the infrastructure to demand it. And it's like they're cosplaying
yes.
9s and 10s.
Absolutely.
And when they go out and they're unsuccessful, because men who can afford that and it's nothing for them, they know how to find those women. They know how to pick them out. They know how to select them. And if they're skipping over you, it's for a reason. And what I'm afraid of when I have conversations with women is I don't want to be the one to be like, babe, like you're not that pretty. Like you can't demand this. You're not going to get
everything now. Female culture used to be, and this is why Joy Behar was so treacherous and so treasonous to women, what she was doing, and Sunny and the rest of y'all on The View, is because female culture used to be about educating young women about what they needed to do to attract men, be prim, be proper, be polite, have home economic skills. Now they're telling them, oh, you don't have to do any of that. Go get you some breast implants and go get you some lip fillers and some fake eyelashes and draw on the rest of them there with the Crayola people and go get you a BBL. And that's all you have to do. And untold riches will be deposited at your doorstep because, well, somebody said that there was a rumor that some Instagram model was getting that. So just believe me, if the rumor was out there, it must be true. It couldn't possibly be that this is all just a rumor and that most of the chicks on Instagram are broke. It can't possibly be that one. And so now it is all about everything in the society today is calibrated towards gaslighting men. How do we pressure them? How do we knuckle them under? How do we scam them? How do we con them? It's not even being subtle anymore. Take a look at the City Girls thing. That's straight up about get these niggas money and do what you got to do. That's literally what they're coming out the gate saying it now. So I'm just saying that's not entertainment anymore. When people are adopting it and as a lifestyle, that's not entertainment anymore. When they're literally telling you women are, and when you talk about the so-called dating coaches, it doesn't matter what side of the dynamic you fall on. I have yet to see a single female dating coach or some chick online trying to give out advice who is offering a fair deal. She wants a fella who's dropping $500,000 or $1 million of productivity, personality, and status while she brings you her bastard kids and weight gain and stretch marks, and she's 40 plus over the hill and telling you that, well, here's what we do. Okay, even if you find a guy who accepts that, that's an uneven deal. So all you're doing is telling people, here's how we get an uneven deal. And the problem is there's not enough of you to get that. Therefore, even if you could accomplish it, you're an outlier. And all the rest of these females are listening to you sell them on the idea that if they just do what you did, that it even raises their chances, which it doesn't. You just won the lottery. You found the simp, you found the idiot, or you found a fool, or you didn't find anything at all. So yes, you're right. It's about cosplaying. And when it ultimately fails, because it must, they don't say, I need to alter what I'm doing. They double down and say, see, the problem is the men.
And that's what I don't understand is why so many young women like in my generation, under me or younger than me, why they don't seem to focus more on what they actually want instead of listening to what kind of like TikTok like people, what other people who are saying who don't have to actually live their life. Like if you are a career woman and you want to be a go-getter, you want to be a hustle, and you want to stand beside a man or command men in a room at the edge of a table, if that's genuinely who you are and that's really what you want, and you don't want to have kids and you don't want to have a husband and a home, then that's fine if that's really what you want. But if that is what you want and you're doing things that will set you up in a contrary position just for appearances, I don't understand that. Like,
well, okay, you hit on the nail there. You hit the nail on the head there when you say, why are they not getting themselves in the position for what they want? Why are they listening to other people? Kia, they don't know what they want. They don't. You just said something there. Well, if you want a husband, yeah, but most females today don't want a husband. They want a sponsor. They want a trick. They want a bailout. But they do not want a husband. Jason, why do you say that? Because a husband wants something. A husband is looking for something. He's not looking for a place to deposit his money and be a wage slave for the rest of his life too. If he marries you, there's something he wants. And that something he wants requires effort, and he wants the same thing you want, excellence. He does not just want to have some chick laying in his bed. He could have gotten that. He wants what you want. You want excellence, masculine excellence. Well, he wants feminine excellence. That's what he wants. That's why he's offering a lifetime commitment. These females today, while they're throwing out their crazy ass lists and their hood rat thought tactics, what they're not discussing is the value that they would bring to the table that is commensurate or equivalent to that. That's the part that's missing. So today, when you got a bunch of crazy, whacked out chicks running around, you're right. They're not getting what they want because they don't actually know what they want, or what they want is a trick, an idiot, a sponsor, a sugar daddy. And then, of course, even if they succeeded at that, they have no respect for him. Because, oh, well, take a look at how easy he tricked it off on me. Another female who looks better than me, because now reality sinks into view. Well, another chick who's better than me, she could get him just as easy. So she ends up being with a guy she actually resents and has no respect for because he is a sponsor and a trick and a simp. So what you're saying is true, but they can't get there because they don't actually know what they want. And what they're chasing isn't actually something that they want either. They just want the benefits of it, but they don't actually want it.
I mean, like I said, all of that, like finding a sponsor, a trick, a sugar daddy, like again, if you are satisfied with that truly, and you understand that that has a time limit, like that typically you have to be doing something else, anticipating him leaving or moving on, if that's, again, a life that you want to live. But a lot of times when I have conversations with women, when they're not in a comment section, or when they're not like posturing as, oh, I'm callous, I don't want anything, they express like, no, like I want somebody to pump my gas. I want somebody to, get up and warm my car up for me. I want somebody to take my trash. It's simple things. Like, I know when I'm out shopping and I'm by myself versus when I'm with my husband, I feel different. And I would rather be with my husband. I would rather be out shopping with my husband. And I guess what I don't understand is why so many young women don't go after what it is that they secretly want. 'Cause I know you're saying that they don't, and maybe they don't in a way that will cause them to be corrective and to fix certain things like fast and like as they're moving through life. But a lot of women do intrinsically know that they do want to have a man to lead them, and that they can trust, that they can, know that this person will protect me and our offspring. A lot of women do know that intrinsically, but because they're so tricked up by all this other messaging, they don't really allow themselves to get in a position. Like when I got married, I didn't know how to cook. I didn't. I graduated high school. I went straight into modeling. I was there, most of my life doing takeout in restaurants. Came back. I went to college. I was still doing takeout. My mom wasn't cooking for me anymore when I was with my mom. when I got married, my husband taught me how to cook, and I went from there. I learned how to do it more. I learned how to make other things, and I just realized that there were certain things that I didn't know how to do when I became a wife. And it was important to me to learn them, because if I'm going to have this work, then I need to show up and do certain things.
Right,
and
but
so
you notice that what you have right there is a huge problem that you just articulated, though. Now, you had a deficient skill set when you got married. Your response to that was, I'm married and I need to improve my skill set because I have come to the marriage deficient. Well, that was Kia's attitude. What is the average female's attitude? Not what they say online, but what they actually display to their men that they're with. Well, if you married me not being able to cook like that, why do I need to learn? After all, it was good enough to marry. I was good enough to marry like this. That heifer's just stupid. That man knew what he was marrying. And here's the thing. Can we really argue with that? Can we really argue that they're wrong if they say that?
Yes, that's not sustainable. What man is going to want every time he's hungry, you can't even make rice? Like, no, like that's crazy.
Yeah, okay, well, you say that's not sustainable. Well, actually, yeah, it is, because for a female, you've got the power of the state behind you if a man marries you. So if she can maneuver him into that position, well, is it sustainable? Well, it depends on how worried he is about getting divorced. Because if you're not cooking, you probably ain't working either. So now he's behind the 8 ball. Only now he's realized what it is. So yeah, the idea that we'll marry her and she'll upgrade. That's not really the way that works in general. She'll be like, once she gets married, I mean, what the usual process is. Women get married. Here comes the weight gain. Here comes the not doing their hair anymore. Here comes the attitude issues. Women, when they get married, don't become higher value women. They become lower value. They don't maintain the value that they had. The only time that occurs is if she wants to leave the man she's with. Now, all of a sudden, she goes back to doing those things she was doing that first got a man. We've created a society where females think their obligation is to trap a man, not to keep a man. But that is the prevailing sentiment today. Get him however you got to get him. And once you get him, all right, now the real thing can come out. You don't have to pretend anymore. Now the real thing can come out.
I mean, I can't say you're lying. I mean, it's sad, but when I do have interactions with other young ladies, I unfortunately do see a lot of the mindset of, don't worry about that. Like, as long as he focus on one thing, just get pregnant and, just stay for a couple of years, get the money. And I guess I'm concerned as someone who's always been, very into like the family and trying to restore some of our own personal accountability to each other by starting with our families, is how are you going to build families like that? How are you going to build households that are functional and healthy when everybody's just trying to get something? You just have men trying to get something, just have women trying to get something, and then you have kids being born, like the caller that was just on the phone talking about how he don't like none of the qualities of the woman. He don't really talk to her. He don't really mess with her. He don't really think much of her, but he's still keeping her around. For what? Like, I don't understand how anything's ever going to be corrected if we just keep playing these games, like these gender war games. It's like, you're right. It's not entertainment anymore. People are in real life acting like it's 1 point for the red pill, 1 point for the feminist. Like but this is our real life, and kids are really being born to people who are playing games. But
I agree. These are real. Folks act like it's entertainment, but there are actually real consequences for it. Thank you very much for giving us a call, Kia. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and see if I can get one more here. I got Liz on Zoom here, so let me go ahead and see if we can get that up and going here. I'll give you a minute to do that. We've been on for a while here tonight, as a matter of fact, here as well. So, Liz, You're going to need to go ahead and turn your camera on for us as well here. We'll give you about 5 seconds to get that going. If you can't, we're going to go ahead and put you on a permanent vacation. So let's go ahead and get that taken care of for us here. We'll give you about 5 seconds to get that going. As you all know the rules here, if you get on Zoom, all you really have to do is just have camera and microphone on, and that's all we require. If we do not have that, then you have to take a permanent vacation. Okay, Liz has had her 5 seconds, so Liz is on permanent vacation. Folks, if you wish to call in on Zoom, that's actually absolutely fine. No issue with that whatsoever, but you do know the rules. If you use the Zoom, you're going to have to go ahead and make sure you have the camera and microphone on. This way we can make sure that individuals here, we have some way of identifying them here, just in case they want to do something they should not be doing here. So we definitely want to make sure folks qualified to be in the building here. Look, it's not entertainment. It is not entertainment. Do not deceive yourself into thinking that it is entertainment. It is not. This is art imitating life. This is the real thing. These are real consequences. No, in your day-to-day life, it might not be you, Cheesecake Factory, when you know this heifer here has done had threesomes behind damn me Arby's, and she's telling you about Cheesecake Factory. So that's what they're signifying online, but in real life, let's be very, very clear here, fellas, what it is. These pressure tactics. Ew. You got me a Chevy Impala. Ew. Ick. You got me a Ford Explorer. Ick. Meanwhile, this heifer is driving a 89 Honda Civic. So I want you to recognize in your daily life, ew, you're not going to pay my rent? Yeah, online it's Cheesecake Factory, but in real life, you're not going to pay my rent? You know, little Larry needs to, Pookie Jr. needs some new shoes. I'm running low on funds. Pookie Jr. needs some new shoes. So I want you to understand that that's the equivalent of this. Online, the framework of the discussion is restaurants. But in actual execution in real life, the literal presence of it in your lives are these other things I'm referring to. That's where it's really coming from. So recognize what you're really seeing. Recognize what it really is. Recognize what's really happening. In the real world, guys, we're not getting hit with Cheesecake Factory. We're getting hit with, you just brought me a BMW 3 Series. A BMW 3 Series. I'm so much better than that. While she scurries back over to her damn Kia Sorento. Her 15-year-old Kia Sorento, while she's telling you about what's beneath her. Baby, if it was beneath you, then your family and everything else would reflect that. But then again, so would you. The other thing is, by the way, if that's something that you're used to, it wouldn't bother you. People don't eat for status. They eat because they like what's being served there. I've been to some restaurants that charge some tremendous prices and the food was meh. Looking at you, Miami. Looking at you, Miami. Brickell is a food desert. Oh, hell, did I get started here? Jason got to go on a rant.
And deal with it, nigga.
Yeah, you want to talk about food deserts? Thank God there's a Whole Foods in downtown Miami because otherwise I'd starve going down there. Either that or make your way over to Bayside. Get down there to the Hard Rock Cafe. Other than that, I would starve in downtown Miami. Hell, not just downtown Miami, period. Oh, I would starve there. Whoever thought that a place so rich and a place so well built out would be a food desert? All right. You pay a whole bunch of money. It's like, whoa, I paid $98 for this? Feel like Ninja from Afro Samurai. We make the best seafood in Florida. I'm kind of spitting that out. This is the best? We ought to kill him too for lying. No, if you go to a place, you're supposed to be paying for the, first and foremost, if it's a place that serves food, you go for the food. If you're not interested in getting the food, y'all just go get there, sit there and get some drinks and sit at the table for an hour. I don't go to places that serve food and don't want food. I got more sense than that and better options. If you're going to go somewhere, then go somewhere. First and foremost, what are they here for? People don't go to Starbucks because the coffee sucks. People don't go to Starbucks to hang out. They go to Starbucks because they love the coffee. It might not be your cup of tea, but the folks who go there, they lined up to get some coffee. Well, Jason, there's people who go there and get on Wi-Fi, and that's why they're looking at them crazy. It's like, wait a minute, you ain't gonna drink no coffee? Because this is what we do. This is what we do here, man. You taking up real estate. There could be a customer standing where you are right now. Get out the way. They want the coffee. Okay, well, if we're talking about restaurants, first and foremost, the priority should be the quality of the food. But individuals who live their lives vicariously through social media and hope that social media will elevate their status, then they just start talking crazy, man. And that's where we are today. We are living in the crazy, irrational era where people are trying to pressure other people, specifically men, into simply dropping off unearned benefits. And what we're seeing now is that every year they're trying to jack that price up. I did a whole program before about trying to increase the price. They're trying to jack the price up after the fact. I might put a card for it here on the video about jacking the price up later. Oh, we walked in the door. Oh, don't worry. Oh, I'm perfectly fine with moonlit walks on the beach and popcorn shrimp. Yeah, as soon as she thinks she got your ass, all right, nigga, I need a house, I need a car, I need some handbags. It's like, whoa, what in the world happened, dude? It was coming from the beginning. You fell for it? It was coming from the beginning. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo, Larry's Anything Goes LLC, Mark 2 Square, Potluck Podcast, Mr. SF Black, and Yana. Thank you very much for your support tonight. If you are new here to The Business, welcome to the program that all your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch. Click that red subscribe button, click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we are here. If you haven't joined our Patreon, the link is in the description. You definitely want to join that as well. As you can see, there's a lot of folks who love what we're doing over there. So if you haven't joined it, you are missing out. That is for certain. Just ask the folks who are members of it there. Hope you all like some of the new graphics. We've been having some technical glitches and difficulties. I had to do a whole bunch of running around my computer because I do this stuff myself. Had some technical glitches there, but as you can see, we got a new waveform spectralizer. We got some new graphics as far as the telephone numbers and things, and some new things to show you there. So we use this as an opportunity to spruce the place up and make some upgrades. Hope you enjoy that. More are coming. So be here or be nowhere. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes this broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, all of my brothers and all my sisters from around the world, I want you to remember it's imperative that you handle your business, or the business is going to handle you.